can't find a seat or anything.
I know.
Corp is present, and therefore this commission is ready to proceed with its notice agenda. However, prior to commencing, our staff would like to go over the format for the benefit of those of you that are here in the audience. Staff, please.
The zoning commission is a 11-member body appointed by city council to make recommendations on zoning cases. Upon receiving a recommendation from the commission on your case, you have 6 months from today's commission action to forward the recommendation to city council. This appeal must be done in writing. If you have any questions regarding this procedure of the city council submittal, please contact the zoning staff. Opponents and opponents will be allocated a maximum of 3 minutes per speaker. Opponents will be allocated a rebuttal limited to 1 speaker with a 3-minute time limit. Proponents and opponents are not obligated to utilize the maximum time limitation. The map on the screen shows the area to be considered with a 200-foot radius. Check marks indicate those property owners in favor of the request, and X indicate those property owners in opposition.
Thank you, Melissa. And again, folks, just a friendly reminder for those of you that have pagers and cell phones, please in vibration mode. What we're going to do is, and for the benefit of those of you that are here once again, tonight is strictly for information purposes. The zoning commission will not, I repeat, will not vote on any of these 2 issues that are coming before the commission this evening. As my understanding, on September the 4th, these 2 issues will come before the zoning commission for action. So just for the record, we're going to listen to the city side, if you will, and then we're going to listen to those that are opposing. And please, I have to stress the importance of, y se dice con todo respeto, it said with all due respect to everyone in here, there will be no name calling, no disrespecting. I don't care what side of the issue you stand on. Because the minute that I feel that you're disrespecting anybody in here, trust me, I'm not going to support it out of this meeting. It's just, to me, that's important. Because if there's any distractions, and it takes from both sides. Part of the community spent over a month ago on Leal Street. Marisol, her husband, Mr. Garza, on Leal Street. Certainly Charlie Mata, Jason Mata, Emilio Garza, Ruten Garcia, Norma Garcia, Abel Ruiz, Nazra, and there were others that were there. I just want to thank you for opening your home to me so that I could listen to some of your concerns. And to the staff, just real quick, the concerns from the very beginning when I met with these folks was the process. And for those of you that know me, the process is very important. And that's what I normally support, is a process, and we do it the right way. In the eyes of a lot of the folks, a lot of folks feel that this is a done deal. And I stress it's not a done deal. So there's a lot of questions that are going to be asked. And again, if your time expires, we're going to listen to everyone. So please don't feel that you're left out, but you've got to be understanding that it's going to be within reason. So with that, we'll, and to the commissioners, once we hear the city side, let's hear all of the issues. And once we hear it all, then we'll ask for questioning for time's sake for all those in the audience. And then we'll do the same to those that are here in opposition. So with that in mind, I'll refer back to the city. If you will, Mr. Looney, it will be brief, to the point. We would appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Zoning Commission. I'll begin with just a quick briefing of the proposed amendment to the Unified Development Code. Then Mr. Michael Taylor, planner 2 of our department, will give a briefing on the proposed zoning case, and then the director of the Department of Community Initiatives will give a presentation on the project as a whole. With respect to the amendment to the Unified Development Code, just very quickly, whenever the proposed use was presented to Development Services with respect to finding a zoning classification where it might be allowed, we noted that there was no entry in the Unified Development Code that would allow the subject use as it was proposed as a campus as a whole. And so, as to prevent us from having to make an interpretation of what zoning classification would allow such a broad use by right, it was decided that the best approach would be to amend the Unified Development Code in 2 ways. One, by adding a definition for the subject use, which was the term used is human services campus, which is defined in the materials you have before you. And the second addition to the Unified Development Code is an actual entry in what we refer to as the use matrix that indicates what zoning classifications would allow a human services campus. And it is proposed that human services campus be allowed in the C3 zoning district and the D downtown district only with approval of a specific use authorization, which, as we all know, requires a site plan submission. So that is the proposed amendments to the Unified Development Code in brief, and I'll now turn it over to Michael Taylor, who will give a quick briefing on the zoning case itself.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The final case for today is found on page 79 of your packet, Z 2007-217S. The requested zoning is from I-1 General Industrial District and I-2 Heavy Industrial District to C3 and 8S, General Commercial Non-Alcoholic Sales District, with a specific use permit for a human services campus. This is an area generally bound by Leal Street to the north, West Martin Street to the south, North Salado Street to the east, and a Union Pacific Railroad right-of-way to the west. Staff's recommendation is for approval. The City of San Antonio is proposing the zoning change to redevelop the subject property into the Haven for Hope Human Services Campus. This redevelopment will include the renovation and reuse of existing industrial space combined with new construction. Proposed uses are to include men's, women's, and family residential areas, a child care center, dining and food services, space for transportation service providers, and medical, dental, and intake facilities. This site is in close proximity to existing public transportation infrastructure, hospitals, clinics, and other facilities that provide social services. As evidenced by the high vacancy rates, this area is no longer highly desirable for industrial type uses. The evolution of manufacturing, warehousing, and other heavy industries has challenged the viability of small central city parcels with dated infrastructure as the sites for these types of uses. The environmental remediation and redevelopment of the subject property will return the site to productive use. The redevelopment of this property will also serve to reconnect the Prospect Hill neighborhood with downtown, while the separation provided by the abutting public streets and railroads will reduce the impact of this use on adjacent properties. Mailed 40 notices, 0 were returned in opposition, 1 was returned in favor. The Prospect Hill Neighborhood Association is opposed to this change.
Thank you very much, Mr. Taylor. Dennis, Mr. Campo, please name and address.
My name is Dennis Comp, and I direct the city's Department of Community Initiatives. I'd like to thank the chairman and the commission for having us here. I know it'll be a long night, so I'll do my best to move through the presentation as quickly as possible. But I want to give you a little background of how we started. Back in 2004, Mayor Garza asked us to put together a 10-year plan to look at ending chronic homelessness. Not only was it a requirement of housing and urban development in major cities who wanted to continue receiving federal dollars to support recommends the development of a comprehensive homeless campus as a major strategy toward our goal of ending chronic homelessness. On May 13th, Mayor Harberger called us together and asked us to accelerate our work on the 10-year plan, and he established the Mayor's Homeless Council, and he appointed Bill Greeke and Councilmember Patty Rado as co-chairs. The city owns 2 homeless shelters in the downtown area. The Dwyer Avenue shelter, which is on Dwyer Avenue, where we serve both homeless families and singles, and the SAM shelter that's located on West Commerce. It's operated by SAM Ministries. Neither of these facilities were designed or constructed to serve homeless people, nor meet the long-term needs of turning around people from being homeless and transferring them to being productive members of our community. Every year we're required to conduct a homeless census. We did it this year in conjunction with other cities in Texas on January 25th. We found about 2,247 people that were homeless in the community. 14% of those people were veterans, 30% were people that were employed, and over 40% were families with children. So what we believe that it's a very undercount of people, families with children, because many of our families double, triple, and quadruple up in residence rather than move into homeless shelters. As many of you know, homeless people face a number of challenges in making a transition from homelessness to mainstream community, mental health, medical needs, substance abuse. Many are fleeing domestic violence situations, others are re-entering from incarceration, and others aging out of the foster care system. As a result, what we're doing right now too often is we're treating this with high-cost resources, and that's police and emergency room and EMS. To give you some additional information, in the downtown area, we have a total of 8 sites that are serving homeless people. 5 are located in District 1, 1 located in District 2, and 2 located in District 5. In constructing the Haven for Hope campus, we would look at selling the SAM shelter, so that would still leave only 2 in District 5. This gives you a map of the area that we're proposing to do. We proposed to do, in our site selection, we were looking at locating it within 1 1/2 miles of central downtown. That's where homeless people congregate. This is the map of the proposed homeless campus. It's bound on the east side by the Center for Healthcare Services University Health System, on the south side by the Bexar County Jail, and on the west side by the railroad tracks, and the north side by Layout and Ruiz Street. The proposed services, I think, are critical to this. Haven for Hope and the city, we engaged in a 15-month best practices listening and learning process, where we had conversations with people around the country, inside our community, and we looked at what are the best practices out there, how do we take what's working best in one community and bring it to San Antonio. There wasn't any one community that had all those pieces put together in a campus. We believe what we're proposing brings the best practices of Miami, of San Diego, of Los Angeles, Chicago, and places here, and gives us a greater opportunity to transform people from being homeless to being productive members of our community. The services will focus on emergency transformational supportive housing. We'll have a medical and dental clinic available on campus. It's also available to the community. We'll have comprehensive supportive services, counseling and treatment, job training, education, and child care. Other than the residential component, all the other services will be available to people in our community, and Haven for Hope will be open to everyone. We see this as a major opportunity to help revitalize a part of our community that has been neglected. The University Health System, as well as the city and the Center for Healthcare Services, will be renovating 40 acres that's between I-10 and Colorado Street. You can see how some of the area looks right now, as well as the pictures shown by Development Services staff. We believe this will be a major renovation effort that will rejuvenate the neighborhood and improve the community. This is an aerial map of Haven for Hope, and again on the far east side is Brady Green. Moving to the purple side is an urgent care center, and University Health System will be building 2 towers there. Next to it is the American GI Forum, which is presently serving 110 veterans. As I indicated, about 14% of the people we're seeing that are homeless are veterans, and we're seeing an increasing number of Iraqi veterans ending up on our streets. The Center for Healthcare Services will be constructing a detox center, and just to the west of that will be the Haven for Hope campus, and you can see to the south of it is the Bexar County Jail. We're very aware of the neighborhood concerns regarding it. I think one of the major was the notification process, and I think that's a very legitimate concern. Could we have done this better? Should we have done this better? Would we do this better in the future? And I say yes to all those issues. I think that's a fair criticism of what we've been through. Some of the things that drove the process was accelerated timeframe we were working under. And the second part was to look at minimizing land speculation on the part of we're using public dollars to purchase the property. We didn't want to drive land speculation, and I think those are the major reasons that we embarked on an abbreviated process. I think the criticisms that we have received regarding the process are legitimate, and I think in retrospect we would look at having done it much differently. I think some of the other concerns is the proximity to neighborhoods, how we selected the site, why close to the central business district as opposed to at Kelly USA or some other location in the community. The simple fact is that homeless people congregate in the downtown area to build something outside of downtown. There's been also voiced the concern about potential increase in crime. In all the communities that we've looked at that have built a homeless campus, and to give the example of Phoenix here, there's been a drop in crime in the areas around the homeless campuses. There's concern about sex offenders. We know there's only 8 sex offenders that are registered as being homeless. We think we can manage that issue and manage it very effectively. The other part is the negative impact on property values. And again, using Phoenix as an example, there's been a 21% increase in property value around the Phoenix campus, and there's new development going on, particularly housing. We would have used the San Diego model here, but San Diego property has skyrocketed around their homeless campus, going up something like 500 to 600%. So we thought that was an inappropriate one to use. But in Miami, in San Diego, in Phoenix, the experience has been, it's led to a decrease in crime because we managed the issue. It's led to an improvement in the property, a revitalization of the neighborhood that has improved property values and has spurred residential and commercial development in the immediate area. I think the other part was criticism was that we did not have enough of a process nor notice regarding the intentions that we as early or as late as November 30th of last year, in a public meeting, we presented the conceptual plan to City Council. Council endorsed the plan and asked us to move forward. We began meeting with property owners in January. There was 2 property sites we're looking at, both on the west side. The second site was just south of the current site. We met with those property owners in January, informed them of our intentions around the homeless campus, and asked that they work cooperatively with us to allow us access to the properties so we could make a fair assessment of which site would be most appropriate. We presented to the Chamber of Commerce, and we held another public meeting with the council in April. So there's been a number of meetings. This has not been a secret for at least 9 months of where we're proposing to go. In addition to that, there's been a number of news articles and news stories, again dating back 9 months ago. So there's been enough conversation in the community that this was about to happen and that we're moving forward and we're looking for people to have conversations with. But I'll go back in how I started this conversation. Could we have done this process better? Should we have involved more people? Would we do it better in the future? And as a criticism, legitimate, to all those allegations and suggestions, I'd say yes, we should always do things much better. But we've embarked on a community and education campaign. We're distributing data and researching issues. We think we have an obligation to inform the neighborhood, to inform decision makers, to inform property owners, business owners in the area of what's being proposed and the potential impact of a transformational center to serve homeless people. We've begun doing a newsletter. We say monthly, but we've been doing it every 2 weeks. We have conducted 2 best practice visits where we've taken community leaders, council members to look at affordable housing in Chicago, to look at the homeless campus in San Diego, and to talk to people who have been doing this for more than 20 years And they all, to a person, said that there was neighborhood and community opposition, and now there's neighborhood acceptance and support of what's being done. We have asked the council members and the mayor to work with us on appointing a neighborhood advisory council that will work on informing the Haven for Hope process. We will continue to meet with community organizations. We intend to have a community fair at the elementary school, and we plan to conduct as many one-on-one conversations with people in the community to continue to inform them of the process. Some of the timeline we're working on for Haven for Hope. Today, we're here for the zoning public hearing. Next Tuesday, Councilmember Galvan is holding a community meeting at the Mexican American Unity Council at 2300 West Commerce Street to inform the community and to receive additional community input into this process. And we encourage everyone to be present and to attend. On September 4th, we'll be back here with you, and on September 6th, this issue will be going to City Council for a vote. If people need additional information, you know where you can reach me. I'm available. My project manager on this effort is Billy Hubbard, and his phone number and email is there. And I'd like to thank you for allowing us to do this presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mukapa. Is there anyone else on the city side? Okay, let me do it this way. Is there anyone else here to support this issue? Come on up, sir. And I can, we're pretty, that's fine, and I'm sorry, I can't see behind the podium. We're pretty lax, and as long as we do it in a professional manner, however you want to do it is fine with us.
606 North Crescent. I'm standing here before you today to speak in support for the zoning change and for the creation of a facility that is desperately needed in the city of San Antonio. I own the Maverick building at the corner of Houston and Crescent Street, a 1920s historic building that was adapted and converted to apartments in 1997, when downtown was a dark hole with most of the street boarded up except for the Maverick, the Majestic, and the Exchange building. I get teased by some of my friends in the winter months when they ask me if I count the numbers of people that are sleeping in the doorways of Houston Street as part of my overall occupancy. The city needs this type of facility to give dignity and to give options to the people that we find in our parks, in our doorways, and under the bridges. And I hopefully look forward to your support in this endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you, Fonda.
Next is Carmen Sardorowitz. And I don't know if I said that right. And then after that will be Carlos Guadarrama.
Hey, member, welcome. Get that microphone to you. There we go. Thank you.
My name is Carmen Zadrovich. You got it very close. I currently reside at 603 West Elmira. Thank you, Mr. Avila, for that warm welcome. I'm honored to speak to you, ladies and gentlemen of the Zoning Commission. As I said, I live at 603 West Elmira, and that is exactly across the street from the Salvation Army Hope Center for Women and Children. And the reason I'm so familiar with that area is that at one point in time, the Salvation Army Hope Center was my residence. I've also lived a stone's throw away from here. The most productive and happy 9 years of my life were spent at the O.P. Schnabel Apartments, a stone's throw away from here. And I have also resided at the Dwyer Avenue Center. My background is a background of someone who is well educated. I'm a college graduate. I'm a high school graduate of Winston Churchill. I'm proud to be so. And due to deteriorating health and depression and listening to society's generalities of people in homelessness, in other words, listening to my own bad press, I got caught 10 years ago in the web of homelessness. 10 years later, I'm still struggling to get back on my feet and provide a stable environment for myself. I'm currently in a privately owned home that has been converted for apartments. The person I'm residing with is a woman I've known for 20 years. We met in college. She too has been homeless. And some of the concerns that were raised by the West Side community is, what about the elderly? What about the disabled people in the residential areas? I cross by the Salvation Army Hope Center almost on a daily basis. There's convenience stores, there's grocery stores, there's things that I can get to in my wheelchair, but you can't do that without passing the campus. There has been no ill effects. There is no human spillage. There is no graffiti, there is no tagging, there is no problem. And anybody living in my personal private apartment complex is not adversely affected. As a matter of fact, down the street on Flores, a new grocery store has opened. I recently was at the Hippo grocery store directly across the street from the Dwyer Avenue Center. And while I didn't call out my former residents over there at the Dwyer and say, have you had any problems, Hippo, with the Dwyer Avenue Center, I did ask the owner, who welcomed me and showed me around her store, how's it been going for you with this luxury condominium and in this area? How are you doing? She said she couldn't be happier. If you go by the Dwyer Avenue Center, there is no human spillage. There is no tagging. It rests on the administration, is what I have found in my own personal experience. Mr. Avila and zoning council, I can only give you what I have experienced personally. I can't speak, for every case.
Sweetie, I have to interrupt you because your time has expired.
Okay.
And I have to be, I'm open to listen to everyone that wants to speak here.
Sure.
In order to do that, I've got to be very strict with the guidelines. So certainly your testimony will be taken into consideration.
Thank you.
And on the contrary, thank you for being here.
Carlos Guadarrama, followed by Rick and Barbara Wilson.
I'm homeless, and going on next homeless. I think it's a great project what you all doing, we all trying to do. I'm trying to raise funds for the homeless, and it's better for the community. I don't know if you all read my story. I did 2 runs from San Antonio to Corpus Christi, raising funds for the homeless. Again, I was homeless. I got 2 jobs right now, day and night, and I really want to do something about it. It can be one paid check away from being homeless. That's anybody. I had a friend of mine who was homeless. Now he has a degree, and he's trying to do the same as me. I'm doing one more run to Washington D.C. from San Antonio, and I want to donate all that money to the shelter, which is being built next year. God's help, and hope everybody can get together. I was homeless. Now I'm homeless. I'm still living homeless, But we can get everybody to society and get on. And I'm looking for a coordinator right now. Sponsor me, I'm going all the way to Washington D.C. And I talked to Ms. Betty Grable, and I really would like to work there as an encourager. I see it's not about religion. I see that Joel Osteen, he inspires me, and that's what I want to do in shelter and Greenville. That's all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Barbara Wilson.
Can I ask a question? Is there someone else here from the same shelter? I am. Okay, then I'll get my turn.
Okay, we'll make a notation of that. Rick Wilson.
Well, we both.
Okay. Ann Myers.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ann Myers, and I am the board chair of SAM Ministries. As you know, SAM has been providing homes for the homeless for over 25 years now. As one of the slotted anchor providers for the new Haven for Hope campus, we'll be overseeing all the residential aspects of the campus. We are really excited about the opportunities for growth and homeless transformation, and the word transformation is so important on the new campus. We've heard of the concerns of the sited neighborhood in regard to the location for the new campus, and while neighborhood concerns are definitely understandable, They're not a new thing for SAM Ministries. 5 years ago, when SAM began its Transformational Living and Learning Center, a property was selected and purchased in Castle Hills. Almost immediately, neighbors began to fight our location in the community, suggesting the value of their properties would decrease and that an undesirable element would be brought to the neighborhood. After a great deal of work and meetings, zoning for the new facility was approved, and a neighborhood committee of SAM Ministries and neighborhood officials was established, and we met once a month to talk about neighborhood concerns. I'm happy to report that within a very short time, there wasn't a need for this committee any longer. The neighbors said that we were good neighbors and did not detract from the neighborhood, but actually added to the area, and we were good neighbors and good citizens. Some of our most ardent detractors have now become our most vocal supporters. All of this is simply to say that the neighborhood concerns, as history has shown, transitional living can peacefully coexist with neighborhoods in the area. It simply requires proactive and ongoing dialogue, and we think this is very important. As operators of the homeless shelter currently located on Commerce Street, SAM Ministries looks forward to relocating our emergency shelter, we hope, in this new area, just a short distance where we are now, to better serve the least, the last, and the lost of our community. Thank you.
Ms. Radel?
Thank you. My name is Patty Radel and I live at 1202 Tampico Street. I want to say that I support very strongly the zoning for the Haven for Hope. I feel that it's a wonderful opportunity to express the compassion of the city in an equal way as we have with people who came to us from Katrina and Rita, and people who have been in our city for a long time suffering on the edge of being independent and being able to support themselves and feel the dignity that many of us here in this room feel. So I urge your support for the zoning. As the slideshow showed, there are many, many wonderful entities that are coming together. When I was first running for city council in 2003, I remember that the Prospect Hill Neighborhood Association met with me at the Bazan Library and asked me if I would be sure to prioritize bringing money for services to the community, and I said that I would. So I think it's important to remember that with this, that services are open to the community, that there will be a full-service medical clinic, full-service dental clinic, child care, and many other wonderful opportunities for the community. I also wanted to address a misunderstanding because I know a lot of people were very afraid that they were going to be losing their homes and losing their businesses. And I just wanted to show you, I don't know if you can hand those out for me. This is a flyer that was passed out through the neighborhood telling people come to a meeting out of fear of losing your home and your business. And I think that the map that they put was legitimate from the description of the way the map was put on some paperwork. So I don't think there was somebody like trying to lie to somebody, but in essence, the map is very, very wrong. And it suggests that it would cover that part of the community where the housing is, where the residents are. And it does not. So, you know, I ask people to give their attention to the actual map, to the real map that was shown here tonight, perhaps to relay some of the, to put aside some of the fears that people have had. And people should know me as an advocate in anybody's residency. So I wouldn't want to be seeing people losing their houses when the essence of this actually is to build up the opportunity for housing. So again, thank you for this time tonight and for the opportunity for everyone to speak. And I thank everybody for coming down and expressing their opinion one way or the other. Thank you.
Thank you. Lupe Espinosa. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing his names because I have a hard time reading, writing, and then I've got to interpret the name of the book. So. David.
My name is Guadalupe Espinosa and I live at 321 Montezuma. I'm on the board of directors of the Avenida Guadalupe and I am the resident representative. I'm for the whole Heaven for Hopes because I have a brother that's a schizophrenic too and he lives in a group home but he gets lost and where I find him is at the center. So I'm very thankful that we have that place and a lot of other people that really need it. So please, take that under consideration. Thank you.
Next is Leona or Garcia. Connie Rodriguez.
Hello, my name is Connie Rodriguez. I live at 1407 Del Paso. I'm a 6th generation Texan, and I support Haven for Hope. I know that there are a lot of people that are safe, and of course not in my backyard, but it doesn't really, should not really refer to this. We need to offer 24-hour services to people who are in need of it. I am one paycheck away from being homeless. So I'm here hoping that you will listen to all of our concerns and to hopefully support this zoning for Haven for Hope. We need the services. They are in a location where a lot of people are in need. I know that some people are asking for it to be a different location, but if the majority of the population that are in need are in the surrounding area, then it needs to be addressed, and hopefully it will be approved. Thank you for your time.
Gloria Martinez. Rob.
Thank you for letting me speak. My name is Ed Grubb. I live at 4438 Jones Mossberger. Now, I've lived in the city for 30 years, since January '77. And I've worked in healthcare for homeless services 10 years now, since October of '97. The most frustrating thing for me and the clients that I serve is that when they come to our clinic on Nolan Street, having to go across town for shelter, there may not be a place available by the time we get there. Or they come to our clinic for healthcare services, have to go to Social Security, food stamp office, or another place for other needs. So this is a vital opportunity to consolidate services into one place so we can better serve our clients with a lower cost per client. And I think with all this and all the other digital services will be available in one place, in the case management that will be present, then it will better help clients to get the job training they need, to get into a stable environment, and help them to live, on their own, and not continuously see them come to the clinics and other shelter services. So thank you for your consideration at the next meeting, and vote for approval. I'm for approval of zoning change. Thank you.
Donald Bollinger.
Yes, sir. I'm Donald Ballinger, and I live at 1321 El Paso Street. I'm also a member of the Avenida Guadalupe association, and I am a minister at the Church of Our Lady of Guadalupe also. I have dealt very much with mobile society, and talking about the homeless and a haven, a home for the mobile people is a very noble and wonderful thing for this city to be proud of, to be really stand up for. I recommend, obviously, this project, and just as we have heard here tonight, this afternoon, this evening, cities that are really becoming well known around the country for what they do, like Phoenix, like Los Angeles, like Miami. We would like and want very much for San Antonio to be with that list, and to all of us as citizens to be proud of that. And of these mobile people who are not only mobile within our own country, but mobile all around the world, they need to be incorporated somehow or other into this society. And this seems to me is what Haven of Hope really is attempting to do, to incorporate these mobile people into our society, making them productive citizens highly recommend Haven of Hope.
Thank you.
Rosalinda Hinosa. Followed by Martin Elsner.
Good evening, my name is Rosalinda Hinosa. My home address is 1601 Saunders Avenue, and I'm a member of Avenida Guadalupe. I had the honor to visit San Diego facility for Father Joe's home for the homeless, and it was very touching. You do not see people laying outside, standing around. Everything was very organized. The city has a wonderful plan that will work for our homeless here in San Antonio. And as community members, we need to open up our hearts and give the city of San Antonio, along with the homeless, a new beginning, for us to give them a new beginning. Please consider this rezoning for Haven of Hope. Thank you.
Martin Elsner, followed by Roy Rabel.
Thank you. My name is Marty Elsner. I live at 1321 El Paso Street. Frequently I hear we want to do something because we want to move San Antonio up to the next level. Make it a better city. A city that people will look at and admire. And we have great things here. The number of universities that we have is outstanding. The medical center, the Riverwalk, the 622 golf courses, championship basketball team, the Toyota plant. That helped move us up to the next level. But this, the Haven for Hope, where a city reaches out to the weakest members of its city, that raises us to the next level. I'm new in town. I've been at Our Lady Guadalupe Church only 19 years. And I like it here. And one of the reasons I like it is because there are a lot of people who are compassionate toward those who are weak. One of the things I've noticed is this. We have a drug problem. We have a drug problem. And yet, if you don't have good insurance, and if you want to get off your drug problem, you do have one option, and it's called jail. The Haven for Hope, among many good things, has a detoxification program. But a city that reaches out to the weakest members inside our city limits, when we build this, people will say, that small Texas town on a river that has an unbeatable basketball team has moved to the next level with the Haven for Hope. Thank you.
Thank you.
After Mr. Ray will be Lisa Aguayo.
Good evening. My name is Rod Radel. I reside at 1202 Huntington Street, District 5. I'm going to make an assumption here that no one on this panel and no one in this audience is against helping people. I think, as was stated previously, there's some process questions, and the concern I would have from this point forward, which I've heard from many of the staff and from a certain person I live with, that dialogue is being encouraged. I would ask the individuals in this audience if they're invited to go ahead and visit a site, such as the study was over here, take a look at it. take advantage of the education to go out there and find out the information. I know that offer's been made and many people have declined to take advantage of it. I would encourage them to do so if they're offered again. The Haven for Hope is a concept that will be a reality at some point in time in the city, hopefully sooner rather than later. In my role as co-director of inner-city development for the last 35 years, I have seen literally thousands of homeless people on the streets. And all we can offer them is a meal or a sack lunch. We need to offer a transformation center where they can have their lives back, where they have control over what they do with their lives. That is what we're pleading here tonight. Self-determination to put back in the hands of the individuals on the streets rather than what we have to offer them now. We need to offer them something greater. To the community that may feel that this is not a good thing because of concerns, the information is there. It's there to share, it's there to dialogue about, it's there to discuss. The concept, as was presented earlier, with what they did over on the north side in regards to the SAM shelter, with having that communication, that offer is there. Please take advantage of it to keep the dialogue open, not just now during this hearing time, but for the years to come. This is a positive program, one that I support with all my heart and my soul. Thank you.
Lisa Guayo.
My name is Dr. Florence Weinberg. My address is 331 Royal Oaks Drive. The state of the homeless, the addict, those without insurance in this country is a scandal. And I fear that San Antonio, up to this point, has made attempts to help this problem, but we still have several thousand people on the streets. I want to tell you a little story. Back in the 18th century, a small group of Franciscans came up from Querétaro, Mexico. They found a beautiful spring. They decided to stop here. It happened to be the feast day of St. Anthony, Padua. They built a mission. It was called San Antonio de Valero. We have a tradition here. The Franciscans came here to offer a better way of life to the poor natives who were running around naked, living on berries and roots and starving in the wintertime. Now, I'll grant you that we do have the SAM Center, we have the Salvation Army, we have other efforts to meet our problem, but we have only done it partially. And the existing services are described here as emergency shelter, not permanent, transitional housing, limited case management, limited medical services, minimal workforce development. What we need is a comprehensive program, and that is what the Haven for Hope will offer us. Let us remember our tradition and follow through. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're going to ask those that are now in favor to limit your remarks to 1 minute for sake of time. If you would kind of line up in the middle so we don't have to wait in between. So anyone else who would like to speak in favor, please come forward. If there is anyone.
Having said that, seeing none, the opportunity was allotted, and now we'll move to those that are against. And I think for the sake of time, probably we could do, Commissioner Cheryl is probably have 3 or 4 folks lined up for the sake of time. We'll go off the list. There's going to be a few folks that are going to speak a little longer than allotted. At that time, we're going to interrupt you and ask if somebody would be happy to relinquish their time to you so you can continue to speak your piece.
Excuse me, how come you're giving us 1 minute?
No, only those that were in favor.
Well,
Mr. Nassar, you're going to get
okay?
Mr. Nassar, you're going to get an opportunity to speak, and if you let me speak, Mr. Nassar, I want to just warn you one time. You're going to get your time to speak. We're going to allow, just like everyone else, there's not one above anybody else here, please, that's an insult to me. You're gonna be allowed to speak, Mr. Ezra, and if you violate the time, then I will ask you to stop speaking. But you're gonna be allowed to speak, Mr. Ezra. I'm not gonna take that away from you. I'm a very firm believer in that, so, with that said, we're gonna call 3 or 4 folks up at a time, so that way the time does not expire on you, because we wanna hear everyone's voice, Mr. Ezra, not just yours, everyone's, on both sides. And nobody's gonna speak no longer than anyone else, so.
My address is 549 Bruce. I bought the property about 6 years ago. I was hoping to live there, but now it's in the area that's going to be taken over by this Haven of Hope. I don't think the city will give me the money to move over on 281 or San Pedro, so that means I'm not going to be able to upgrade. And that's what I don't like. Another thing is that I don't think the center should be in the downtown area. The west side has got to be opened up for more commercial business, and no hotels right now are building there. Not even a McDonald's or Burger King is in the area because they don't want to build in that area. So if we build a homeless shelter there, that is not going to help. I am not against a shelter. This shelter seems to be a very large one, and the area that is being designated for that is not going to be large enough for that. It should be put over at Kelly or Brooks or the Mental Health on South Presa or the Stockyards on 35, but not because that's going to put another stumbling block on the way to the west side. There's only 3 major streets that go to the west side: Commerce and Martin and those are the major ones anyway, that go to the west side, and y'all are going to start blocking all the good traffic, the banks that could open in that area, hotels that could open in that area, nice restaurants that could open in that area. Right now, nobody's building there in that larger quantity. So with another stumbling block like that, it's not going to help the west side. We already have the jail there. We have all kinds of bond houses in there. We have the railroad tracks. We have too many stumbling blocks there. The west side needs help. And we've got to build that shelter somewhere else. That's it.
Thanks.
Good evening, Ruben Garcia. I live at 1207 Buena Vista. I'm the only one in this building that is very happy. I'm happy because if the SAM shelter moves, it's going to be somewhere else from my backyard. I live 200 yards from the SAM shelter. And what I'm saying is, I'm helping out these people with the West Side Task Force. I'm also with the Proctor Hill Neighborhood Association. I'm in the safety committee. I am a cellular patrol. And like I say, I live there and I deal with these problems 24/7. When people leave after they fed or they gave clothes to the homeless, I am the one that is picking up after them. I am the one that has to stay there and protect those homeless. I do not stop at 5 p.m. and I do not punch in at 7 a.m. I am there 24 hours a day. What I'm saying is, I am not against the Haven of Hope. People need help. What we're against is the location and the way the city threw it at us. We don't want it. There's other good places in San Antonio, but not there. It could be put up on Cooper High School, the junior high school. It could be put there. So people are saying that it's a wonderful thing. It's a utopia waiting to happen. So it did. But please, we don't want it there. I can tell you a lot of stories about things that happen in my neighborhood. And like I say, I deal with that problem 24/7, 7 days a week. And what I'm saying is, think about it, because they do create problems, and the city has told us we will stop it. There's no way you can stop a human being from being a human. Humans are the best known of mammals there's in the world. So what I'm saying is, we support the Haven of Hope, but please, not there. Brooks, Kelly, are good locations for it. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Followed by Mariela or Marcela Rea.
Hello. My name is Dora Perez, I'm in the 406 Ava Place. And I just wanted to tell you that I'm not against Heaven for Hope. We just would like another location since we've lived there for a lot of years and, you know, we love our neighborhood. And I myself took a trip down to Los Angeles, San Diego, and I went and visited some of those shelters and during different hours. And we took some pictures and we saw the things that are going on. You know, there's people hanging around there, and these are some of the pictures that we took. And there's signs, even, you know, by the shelter, even as they say, you know, you're not supposed to be around here at a certain hour, but still, just around the block, they're just hanging around there. And I would not like to see that in my neighborhood. We only, you know, it's only a block away from there. And because, you know, it's dangerous for us, the kids. There's a school close by, and there's several schools around there. And if you consider, you know, it's a good thing. It's a good thing for having a home for all the people. But just another location, because we've lived there for years and years, and we know all our neighbors around. You know, we love our neighborhood there. And I know that a couple of years ago they fixed up our streets and the sewer and everything. And
Let me pass that around. I apologize because our overhead projection is broken, so we'll just pass this along. Yeah, please continue.
And well, you know, we love the neighborhood, and thank you for fixing up the streets. We would like to continue living there, enjoying. My mom, she's a widow, and she's afraid, you know, during the night. When she heard about this, which we didn't hear before because we were not informed, there was no, and even though they say that they've been sending out every 2 weeks, but I haven't gotten any at my house, at my address, or if somebody stopped by my house, so I haven't. And I know there's a lot of people that haven't gotten any information either. So if only you consider someplace else, it's a good thing for, you know, the homeless and everything, but just a different location, so we can continue living our life. Thank you.
Yeah, we can pass it around. The only problem is Mrs. Garza is our overhead projector is out of whack today. But we can hand them to the young man to your right, and I guess what is all of that?
This is
Like I said, we will know what it is.
This is a petition that we were kind of picking up, and we're continuing to pick up petitions at this moment as we speak. In here, there's a set of over 300, 400 people that, you know, are in agreement that they were not properly informed, but also are in favor of the project being located in a different area.
Okay, we'll make that part of the record. But if you would, your name and address, please.
Thank you. My name is Maricela Raya Garza, and I live at 409 Arbor Place, 1 block away from the proposed project. Well, I started off by bringing a small presentation, but since I have 1 minute, I'll try to speed it up.
Oh, you have more than that.
Oh.
We're we'll have people relinquish their time. Just trust me, everybody's going to speak. Yeah, please, that's okay, Mr. Garza. Like, please, just feel comfortable, folks. We're not going to cut you completely. We're within reason.
Okay. Well, I'm here representing a large part of our community that is the 78207 zip code, District 1 and District 5. We have very many great concerns. You know, our concerns are related to what interests you as commissioners here in the city of San Antonio. We through our research and our projects, we have researched information that is directly impacting this project. You know, some of the concerns that we have are in reference to items mentioned in the UDC code book that you so much read and make your decisions from. I'm so sorry that I might have to read this out loud, but because it's a pressing issue for our community, I feel that I have to. In your UDC book, it says that adequate measures shall be taken to provide ingress and egress so designed as to minimize the traffic hazards and to minimize the traffic congestion on the public roads. Another point that we have concerns about is The proposed use shall not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of property in the immediate vicinity for the purpose already permitted, nor substantially diminish or impair the property values within the neighborhood. One other point that we researched and looked at was the fact that the establishment, maintenance, or operation of the proposed use shall not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare. These are great concerns that we ourselves researched when we heard about the Haven for Hope project, despite the fact that one of the major community announcements was made on the week of Fiesta, when San Antonio is a party city, of course. Individuals will do what they do best, you know. And this is something that we've seen. The person that was sent over by our group to the San Diego shelters, they visited at the different hours, you know, the after hours, when the shelter has already been closed out. And I know that this is going to be a 24-hour facility, which makes it even a greater concern for us. We're looking at our safety. You know, if it's a 24-hour facility, that means that individuals, transient individuals, will be coming to that area, our home, because we live 1 block away, and there are other houses in the area surrounding the selected area. You know, these will be walking through our streets in the middle of the night when we know this is not a normal thing. Another concern that we have is that this project is going to be built next to an active railroad, and this is a great concern, because if individuals that are going to be suicidal, are substance abusers, mentally ill, that are going to be brought to this facility. I work with psychiatric patients in a hospital. I'm a therapist there, and I know a lot of individuals come in with suicidal thoughts and plans. Many have said, I want to throw myself in front of a train. Many have said, I want to throw myself in front of a car to kill myself. And this is a great concern I have. My daughter's 1 year old. She's going to be growing up in this area. And I don't want her to see that. I don't want her to have to grow up in fear. You know, another great concern, I know that my time is limited, but you know, this is going to be a jail diversion program where individuals that we don't know their record due to confidentiality issues, but we don't know if they're going to be child molesters or what other criminal background that they have. If they're going to be around children, if this is a proposed shelter, you know, our thoughts are not only for the community. We're concerned homeless, people that are running away from violent homes. You know, they're going to be put in there as a group, and it's all a great purpose, but they're missing the point. I think they're missing the point where when you have a large group of individuals put together, what ends up happening, and it turns out to be a little bit of chaotic group until you get some type of order. And as mentioned before, this is a pilot project, this jail diversion program they're trying to bring. They don't know how it's going to affect the individual. So we want you to reconsider the zoning, because if you give them the zoning, this just gives it an opportunity to create a disaster. A disaster with the railroad systems there, the traffic that it's going to create for the neighborhood, you know, the traffic that it's going to create for the transient individuals, and the safety, most importantly, the safety of the community and the individuals that will be housed in that project. I also want to add one more final point. In reference to the LA, San Diego, and Phoenix shelters that we're supposed to be modeling this project, those are huge cities. And these shelters, you know, just yesterday we had someone contact us out of the blue with information.
Since somebody relinquished their time to you, I've got to give those specs before I'm allowing. Just give us your name, sir.
Albert Ryan.
Thank you very kindly. Go ahead, please. I'm sorry, honey.
In reference to the shelters that were mentioned that we're using as models for this Haven for Hope project, you know, we had an individual contact us from Phoenix, and we have email, but I wasn't able to print it out on time to get it here. We have email of where he went to the immediate area that's being affected by these shelters in the surrounding area of the Phoenix shelter. And you know, what he pulled together, I mean, there are not a lot of negative, well actually, this is, his name is Mr. Reyes, I believe, Chris Reyes from Phoenix, Arizona. His mother lives in the area. He visited some of these facilities. One of them was the Old Station Sub Shop, and his comment was, Joseph, the manager, was rather busy at the time, but he states that the situation in his neighborhood is not nice. West Coast Countertop states, Holly says that there are issues in the vicinity. The employees park in a gated lot, but customers park unprotected, and there have been a few broken windows. Holly also talks of the individuals who talk in the area and have entered the business to use the bathroom. Dave has a repair shop, a repair of binoculars, watches, and illegal activity that goes on among the folks that are drawn to the shelter. He also notes the fact that there's business lost because too many customers are afraid to go into the vicinity. Mike is the most vocal of the people I was able to contact. Being that his business is family-owned and operated, he has seen the area deteriorate over the years. When the original proposal was up for discussion in the city council meeting, there was strong opposition, but he says it passed anyways. That's one of our favorites. The all-out lack of law enforcement in the area is what allows the major problems to flourish. According to Mike, everything from drugs being sold in the streets to robberies to attacks are everyday occurrences, but to his knowledge are never reported in the news media, similar as to here. Not to mention a number of murders, he points out, that have happened recently. A quick internet search of the Phoenix News leads me to believe that he's right. Mike also mentioned his file of flyers. The Phoenix police are mandated to distribute alerts regarding sex offenders. The file is 6 inches thick. He claims to me, and they are still coming in. He is also concerned with the public health issues. Every morning, he hoses down the outer walls of his business because the urine that is left overnight. He says the whole neighborhood smells of urine. He invites anyone to spend a day with him just to witness what goes around in the surrounding areas as an example of the poor planning and lack of supervision that has killed his neighborhood. He notified me of the problems Atlanta is facing, but I'm awaiting for a response to email. These are some of the concerns that individuals, and we're taking this upon ourselves because it's a pressing issue for us. We live in the community. After 5 o'clock, once the office is closed, because the shelter will be the 24-hour, but the services, my understanding, I don't know if they'll have 24-hour individuals working there. That's our concern. We live in the area. This is what we wake up to, and this is our concern. We're asking that you please vote in opposition for the zoning of this facility.
Thank you, Mrs.
Marguerite Martinez.
Margarita. Is that Emilio? Come on, I didn't see that. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Well, Emilio, then Margarita. So I did see that. Come on.
Hi, my name is Emilio Garza. That's my sister-in-law, Marisela Araya. She's married to my brother, and I live with them at 409 Arbor. Now, my concern, again, most importantly, we are not against the Haven of Hope. It's an awesome facility that we do need in the city of San Antonio. And at the same token, we need it, we want it, but not at the location. Now, there were several attempts from our community to District 5 to get input on what's going on. We never received to the day. This has been going on with us for a number of months, and we have yet to receive a dialogue from them. Only when we get like this, gather in functions like this, is when we get to see them. Now, if Rachel comes up here and says that she's an advocate to not try to shelter anybody out, well, there's 2 ordinances. Ordinance 0449 that passed on 4th of 19, which is this one. We'll give you guys. And ordinance also 0447 on the 19th, passed by City Council while Ms. Rado was in office. Now, these 2 ordinances, you can't take them back unless City Council brings them back. Where's your compassion on this? On the 26th of April, so many days later, is when they decided, while the Spurs were playing, just took the time, while the Spurs were playing and Semana was going on, is when we had a small meeting, 6 homeowners were there. Just 6 of us, that's it. 6 of us, this is one ordinance.
Thank you.
Because they're very nice. These 2 particular ordinances, 0447 is to modify and bring an amendment, which is that one. 044, that's 447 and 449 that were passed
on the 19th of April. The other is the acquisition from Arbor, Martin, and Colorado. Where's the compassion? There is no compassion. It was already thought out what they were gonna do. And these are specifically for the Haven of Hope, and they say that we hadn't heard anything from the community, our District 5. We heard it until the 26th, so they had already thought this out. They conspired to put this down our throats. And they come up here and say, oh, it's us, we should have done better input? No, we should have done better input. You had already planned out what you guys were gonna do. Is to push it down our throats with no concern. They didn't give us a due process. They threw it out the window because they think we're a bunch of ignorant Mexicans down there on the west side. And it is race. It is total race. Now, we come today with the zoning issue now. There's an amendment that's very, very big with all the listings on here. See, they first came out here with the proposal that it was 16 acres to 22 to 40, and we don't know what they're really gonna do, to be quite frank and honest with you guys. We don't know. But once this zone is retroactive, they can turn around and come down like they said, no, we'll bring it down.
So let me interrupt you, someone would be kind enough to relinquish your time.
Desiree Garza.
Thank you very much.
Desiree Garza.
Got you. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, please, I'm sorry.
What ends up happening when this becomes retroactive, yes, they're downsizing, they want to bring it down now. They can bring it down once this zoning, again, it opens it up. They can turn around and not try to do anything as they please, because again, these people have turned around and opened it up and broad. Just identify it. Just define it, just read the definition. Look how many are there. It's not one, it's many. And as a gentleman, when he first started, said, we need to come in here because there's no entry. So there's not one specific, it's many, which is one. The city has 2 shelters. Yes, when this one goes out, they'll have that. When this one comes up, if it comes up, it's the Haven of Hope. They'll do away with those other 2. Now, Mr. Calfa showed a map on there that stopped way before getting to Lee Street. Mr. Maurice was a gentleman that willingly, supposedly, sold his house. Now, with what they propose, again, coming back, we don't know if they want little or they want more because they keep changing it around. And again, the only time we hear something is when we're here like this. There is no attempt, there is no flyer, there is no mail out. None of us know what's going on. We only hear, that's why we send our own people out. Ms. Galvan approached Dora Perez a couple weeks ago at the meeting and said to go out there. We sent her out there. 4 hours is not enough. We will live with it 24/7, 7 days a week. Not 4 hours. Not 4 hours. Now, if they turn around and they can leave that ordinance in place, because it hasn't been called back, they can come out here and say, no, we don't want Arbor, we don't want Martin, we don't Colorado, then bring it back. Bring it back and abolish it. Rescind it. Okay, if you're going to be specific with the UDC code, then be specific. Like the UDC code has specific and definition. Why do they need such a big, broad? Why can't they just do one? Because they're going to bring it to us and shove it down our throats with no consideration, no compassion. We are taxpayers. We are voters. We do love our area. I mean, my God, why can't we do a South Tim Cafe La Compresa? The gentleman lives at 606 Presa, small little gas station that we used to go to that gas station when I was very young. Why can't do nothing down there? A lot of the projects and development projects that the city of San Antonio has now, why don't they turn around and give community input to help? Sir, you do have them. You have organizations. Well, how come organizations down there that we not even get a simple flyer? The reason I'm going with city groups, there's monies available for the city to do that. But ain't nobody trying to help us down there. They're trying to bring us a haven of hope. Hotels. There's a lot of different things, opportunities. We don't need this haven for hope there. The city stood together. It was awesome. Don't you agree with what Mayor Harberger did coming out of the news, what we did out there at Port San Antonio with all the buses?
Should have something to interrupt you. Someone else has your wish. Who's your leading?
Myra Bettis.
Myra Bettis.
Kelly is awesome. That's the place for it. I was involved with Hurricane Ida. I was involved with Hurricane Katrina. I spent 8 months in Port St. Lucie, Florida. I spent a year in Louisiana, in Metairie, Louisiana. That's what I do. Home builder and I'm a licensed home builder and a licensed demolitionist by training. That's what I do. I didn't go for this one and I got called. Now a lot of the numbers that they're putting on here, I lived in both at the time. The numbers of 2005, we know that values, it's not these shelters. 46% of real estate in Florida, which is the highest in the United States. 26 in California, 20, and it's not 21, it's 28 in Phoenix. In 2005 and 2006, they had a huge explosion. Why? Water slides from California. See, a lot of us that are into real estate end up looking where the market is going. And as you can see, a lot of you have heard that there's this bubble that's going to explode. Good Morning America makes it 2 times out of the week, letting us know that this thing's going to explode, this bubble's going to explode. They just did today, one of the foreclosures, it's huge. It's not these havens for hope. These are new, when you start building, these are new cities. I mean, my God, I was doing a demolition job in Florida. A piece of lot was going down there for $25,000 when this thing hit. It went all the way up to 75. It's not these shelters. The numbers are wrong. Give us the opportunity. We got professionals, we got business people. Just because we choose to live where we choose to live, we're not going to get compassion. Where's our compassion as taxpayers? We need a homeless shelter. We do. Kelly's the best place for it. We came together. Awesome. We did. All the buses from the Alamo Dome, all the way down to Fair, down here to Port San Antonio, Kelly. I keep calling it Kelly, and I know it's Port San Antonio. We spent money already there with Katrina, showers, different things of the sort. I mean, my God, you guys can clearly see that they're trying to shove it down our throats. And we've come together as a West Side community and have sent our people out to investigate. Once this amendment is passed, just look in there what it has, the different things that are in this amendment. One, it's gone and it's passed, just like that ordinance. It's law. Okay, now we don't need that ordinance. Take it back. I mean, you got the council to get the balls. You don't want it? Clearly, my God, you got to see that they're just trying to shove it down our throats with no type whatsoever. They didn't follow due process at all.
Sorry, sometimes hard to keep on interrupting. Just if you want to just have someone else relinquish your time and then you can wrap it up. I'm sorry. You understand? Okay, you got it. Okay, yeah, wrap it up.
One of the things, this is my last thing, and I'm gonna wrap it up real quick. One of the hardest things is, if there is compassion, why does this ordinance take effect on the 19th of April? Why did they start giving us on the 26th? Why was it only 6 homeowners? And it was only 15 people out there. There was more city officials out there than there was local people. On the 26th. 7 days later. But to the present of what we've been doing, we don't want it there. It's not that we're against the homeless. You know what's one of the things that I'm going to be selfish. I'm going to be very selfish. I know what it's like to go in some place with the storm and risk your life to help these people. Victims of hurricanes. I've done that for 6-7 years. And I'm going to be selfish after it's all said and done. Me and my crew, we go back home to, outside the truck stop. I'm going to take showers inside truck stops, 2-3 hours away from the affected areas. And military turns around and gives you food. I mean, you have your resources for your people, but you want to talk about a McDonald's burger costing $8 in a hurricane, it has to be cash? Well, when it's all said and done, helping the individual get their life back, because they don't got that picture when they help their granddaughter, or their uncle, or their father. That's one of the greatest gifts. And they call you a hero, they tell you thank you. That sends chills down my spine. I do it in an honest way. I couldn't do on this one because I got called. But this is an issue that has to be dealt with. And they're tying our hands. I'm an American citizen and they're not allowing me. That's all. Thank you
very much. Margarita Martinez.
Roberto Salazar.
Margarita's coming up.
Margarita's coming up. And then Roberto Salazar.
Quería decirles que yo no estoy de acuerdo en que nos quiten de nuestras casas. Yo soy una persona mayor y no estoy.
Dispensa la molestia, pero yo creo que es muy importante que alguien aquí porque es muy importante que everything is recorded. So, let me ask over a second, buddy. I appreciate that thought. Is there anybody from the city? And the reason I can't is because can you do that? Thank you, Mr. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that gesture, Mr. Garza. Please look into the speak. Pueden hablar más por lo que pueda porque van a en español, por favor.
Mi nombre es Margarita Martínez. Yo vivo por la calle Árbol. Y yo soy una persona mayor y no me gustaría que me quitaran de mi casa porque yo no
Déjame, si me da, si me da tiempo de más espacio para poderlo repartir en inglés, por favor, ¿sí?
que yo soy una persona mayor. No me gustaría que me quitaran del lugar donde vivo porque yo no estoy en condiciones de andarme moviendo a otro lugar.
She doesn't like that she will be displaced from her home and she cannot move easily.
Por eso es que yo quisiera que mejor nos dejaran, bueno, allí donde estoy, lo que quieran hacer es que lo hagan en otro lado.
She wants to stay where she's at and for the city to find another place.
Pues yo de mi parte es todo lo que les quiero decir.
That's all she wants to say to you.
Roberto Salazar.
Okay.
Jacob Silva.
Jacob Silva.
It looks like Sandra Silva. Ricardo Martinez.
Thank you. Judge Hart.
Nice to be here from all you gentlemen. Hanging hands are full and everybody's has their own opinions. As you all know, Mr. Avila, I'm a JP for the area, recently elected, and I walk the neighborhood and people around Delgado Street and Arbor Street. And I think one thing that really bothers me throughout this whole thing is that people are questioning the goodness of people in San Antonio. And I can tell you this neighborhood built probably one of the biggest churches in San Antonio without any help from the city, the county, or the state. You know, and I asked them, why did y'all build such a big church? And they said, well, because we want to help the people. So that should not be questioned. As far as being San Antonio, a small city, it's a great city, a good city, a much better city than Phoenix, and we have a lot better basketball team. Yes, the San Antonio was settled by some great settlers, and we all shared, and that's what we survived. But this thing, the whole thing about this shelter, and I've worked with the Center for Healthcare Services. I know that I believe one of your board members here used to be on the Center for Healthcare Services board, and I worked with the homeless in 1972. It isn't for someone to assert that most of the homeless people live downtown and therefore that's why we're going to build a shelter downtown is totally erroneous. You know, that doesn't make any sense at all, because you would have to say that you would have to go down to Merritt and say, hey, are you guys homeless? Go down to the Hilton, hey, you guys are homeless. This thing is about safety. You know, I challenge any of you to walk to Sam's shelter right there on Commerce at 10 o'clock at night, strolling with your wife and walking along and saying, hey, buenas noches, you know. I challenge anybody to do that, you know, and the city has not been able to take care of Sam's shelter. I mean, there's people sleeping on the streets, there's bottles all over the place. I know, because I work with the homeless. I was a homeless specialist. I used to take people to Sam's and help them relocate. Transformation, I've never heard that word before in social work. Transformation, it's a new word, Transformers. I know it's a great movie, you know, but the issue is about safety, and this community cares about its family. We're family oriented, we're taught to give better than to receive. We're taught to little to share what we have. And maybe that's why we don't have a lot, you know, because we're not greedy. But I asked this commission to consider other locations. The Kelly area is a great location. If you want to look at a model, look at Fort Worth. Fort Worth has a great model. Don't go to Phoenix, go to Fort Worth. Fort Worth is a great model. They have a very comprehensive unit there, medical. But I say, don't look at Phoenix, don't look at San Diego. Colorado, Denver, Colorado has a great program also. But, you know, check out Fort Worth. You know, we spend time in Fort Worth. We spend a whole week there. And it's a lot safer. It's the issue about safety for these families. It's a very concerned issue, especially with a lot of children at risk. Now the health benefits for families and children, the state has upped the ante now. You don't have to be homeless to receive services now. It's been getting a little bit better. So I'm here supporting all my friends here. And not because they're my friends, but because I would like to see their part of town flourish, like South San Antonio. You know, all the old warehouses that you're talking about, the city said, the dilapidated buildings, they're all being remodeled. They look great, you know, art galleries. You go down Provan, you go down East Commerce, but look to the west. Look to the west. What do you see? Sunrise setting down. That's all you see. You know, and give these people a fair share of San Antonio. They deserve it. They've been here longer than most people who've been around here, and their families have been here for a long time. So what is fair is fair. Give them their due right. And yes, they will probably be willing to volunteer at any homeless shelter if you ask them to, you know, but a little better location. The issue about services, medical services, I mean, the services have to be better centralized than having to go to University Hospital, or having to go to detox there, or having to go to mental health ward at the university. Go to Kelly, go to Brooks. Right there with a new food bank is. You have hundreds of AK lines. Go there.
Small basis on this issue. First of all, they've been talking about San Diego. City comes up and says that San Diego is a great model. The first thing I did was I called my daughter. My daughter lives in San Diego. And the first question I asked her was, how's the homeless shelter over there? First thing she said was, why? I said, well, they're thinking of building one here. First thing she reacted was, no, Dad, get out of there. Don't stay there. And I said, well, I want to know first what you've seen. I want to know what you heard. So she went down at night. She said that they usually don't come out during the day because they get ticketed, they get picked up. Go at night. They come crawling from all over the place. And I showed Mr. Avila the pictures. And recently she's getting ready to send me some more pictures. I've also asked her to give me the statistic because she works on real estate and she works for a company and she has a friend in real estate for many years. She's going to give me the statistics for crime rate before and after. She's going to give statistics for the property value also. Hopefully by next meeting I'll have them available. Now the other thing is, I was getting ready to move out. I was getting ready to sell my house, sell my property, and move. But then I stopped for a while and I saw these people out being friends of mine. And I couldn't run and just abandon them. So I decided to stay and fight. Not that we're against the homeless. We're not against it. We hope they can get the help they need. And then we had a gentleman here saying that we need to go to the next level. Well, the next level is not my front yard. It's not my backyard. It's not my front property. Next level's got to be somewhere else. Yeah, you're trying to do something good in the cause of my safety, my family's safety. I have two twin daughters that are 13 years old. They're going to start walking because my son, Levi, sits over there, Abel and Miriam, they would walk every day from my house to Fox Tech. They would walk across where y'all want to build the campus, where y'all want to build the facility, that's where they walk through. Now, I don't know how it's going to go. And I'm concerned for the safety of my daughters. And I'm concerned for the safety of the neighborhood. I'm starting, there's times when I've had 2 or 3 different jobs trying to get the money together, fix my house, bring it up to standard, live a good living, try to live a good life. My family, we don't have a criminal record, we're clean, we try to stay that way. But what is this gonna cost? I mean, I've always told my kids, never fight, but defend yourself. And I think it's getting down to that point that we're gonna have to defend ourselves. They're gonna be sitting, they're talking about a 1,000 feet buffer zone. Well, I think when you're drunk, you're on drugs, you don't know where the buffer zone is at or what the 1,000 feet is at. I mean, unless they're gonna put a red line that's gonna say, you're on this line. If they do that, then I'm at 1,002 feet. They're all going to be in front of my property. So, there's a lot of issues, a lot of concerns. The other thing is, and I've heard about 600 beds, now 800 beds. We've heard about state-of-the-art facility, security, the whole works. At least that's what Mr. Capa said on the meeting on June the 26th at the Bazaar Library. But then when he was asked, would he buy a property next to his place, he wouldn't answer. All he did was, next question, please. And we're allowed witnesses here that we heard that. We have it on video. Now the other thing, we've talked about 800 beds in this facility, but nobody up to this point, I haven't heard anybody besides on June the 26th, when I brought it up about House Bill 2524, and I'll bring it up again. Supposedly, the people that are in city council are supposed to work for the constituents. They're not supposed to scratch your back and scratch my back and scratch each other's back and do whatever they want. They were put there by us. They're supposed to work for us. They're supposed to represent us, and they're not doing that. House Bill 2524, I just touched it up a little bit. By coincidence, I was up in Austin during the session for another bill that we were interested in, and then I heard that Tisa Bennett could get up and say, that she wanted to speak on House Bill 2524, the Heaven for Hope shelter, and right away it caught my eye. Wait a minute, what is this bill doing here? Well, House Bill 2524 is a pilot project that's supposed to divert people in a county jail over that are mentally unstable over to this place. Now, nobody's heard about this. Nobody has said anything about this. It gives the city $6.1 million for this pilot project. First thing I did, grabbed the phone, and I called Emilio Vargas. I said, Emilio, they just passed a bill about House Bill 2524, but the pilot project, $6.1 million, and the Heaven for Hope shelter. He was surprised. I was surprised. And back then, Ms. Rado, District 5 representative, I'm in District 1, 2 blocks away, actually a block and a half away from District 5. Now, Ms. Rado has never informed the community about this bill. Now, why hasn't she informed the community? Maybe because there was going to be some backlash. I don't know. You know, but now if she denied it, which she didn't at the Bazan Library, she was on the witness list on March the 7th with Judge, whatever her name is. Excuse me, I'm sorry. But she was out there testifying in favor of this bill. When they testified in favor of this bill and it was passed, why didn't they come to the community and let the community know? Now, supposedly, this is supposed to take care of the homeless. It's supposed to bring them out of being homeless. So if they divert these people from the county jail and bring them over to this place, and they don't follow the rules, because the reason they're doing it is because high cost, which is what I heard, high cost process. When they don't follow the rules, what's going to happen? They're going to go right back to the county jail, or they're going to be released. Then it's going to go over to the community. The community is going to call cops. Here we go again. A revolving door. So it doesn't solve anything. All he does is a revolving door. It just revolves. There was on a newspaper article a year ago, exactly a year ago, when one of the pastors up in New York, in the Bronx, he said that if anybody thinks they're going to solve the homeless problem, you're an idiot. That's what the pastor said. And here we are talking about Mayor Hartberger trying to solve the homeless problem. I'm not saying he is. He's quoting about what this pastor said. Now, another thing that I want to touch base on, Mr. Campos said on a presentation today that there was 170 sex offenders in this area, 207 area. Well, on June 26th, there was 213 sex offenders. So they don't even have the numbers right. There were 7 homeless, now there's 8. So he tried to put it like, we don't have to worry about those 8 because we know where they're going to be at. Well, that's right. That's 07 area. How many are in the 01 area? How many are in the 02s, 03s, 04s, 05s? You're going to bring all those sex offenders into this area? How many are we looking at? If there's 8 now in our area, and you want to cut it down to 4, an average, for 40 zip codes, which I don't know how many, there are probably more than 40, 40 at times 4, what are we looking at? 1,200, 1,300, maybe 800, maybe 1,600 sex offenders in this area. So there is a great concern. There is I was talking to my daughters the other day and I was telling them that
Let me interrupt you. I need a couple of more names.
going to be affected. I know that the barrier that you saw on there, you know, it's Colorado, it's Reese, it's Martin, and it's the, what used to be the Brady Clinic. If you go 1,000 feet, you know, that puts it right where Fox Tech High School is at. That puts it right where Stephen F. Austin Elementary. That puts Bowie inside the 1,000. That puts Moore Elementary, Lanier, Tafoya. And the other thing is, if you look at the map, the freeway runs across there. So at least it won't get a lot of the flow at Stephen F. Austin and Fox 10. So where are the people going to go? Into the community. They're going to go into my backyard. They're going to go into my property. They're going to go into our property. You know, it's just, I don't have any words for it. I mean, there's so many things. I just went on vacation. You know, I just got back Saturday night. And I'm trying to catch up with what's going on. And a lot of things has changed. And I mean, I don't like politics. I don't like to get involved. You know, I don't like that. But when it involves my family, my safety, my neighborhood, we gotta do something. And that is the only reason that I am here. I'm here, you know, I want this thing gone. Now, I heard that Kelly had a property that was given to the city for this project. It was turned down. There's Wolford Hall right down the street. There's a hospital there. You're gonna have to build a detox center. You can build it there. But you might want to look it up, why it was turned down. I can guess a couple of things. I can guess that property value at the Kelly Mitchell Apartments. You know, I have a friend that lives right down the street, and he said when the Katrina people were here, they were coming from all over the place. They would come out from the front street, backyard, front yard. They were coming from all over the place. Maybe now I know why they don't want them down in Kelly. But they want to shut down our street. My guy lives on Reed, which is going to be like 3-4 houses down from this place. He's 67, 68 years old. And I mean, I lost my mom 5 years ago, so now he's by himself. And I hate for him to try to fend off for himself. You know, us Hispanic, we try to look out for each other. You know, we try to protect each other. Protect what has cost us sometimes 2 jobs, 3 jobs. You know, I've had jobs where I work 8 to 5 and then go on to the next one. Because I want my family to try to live as decent as I can, as much as I can do. And I try to live by what the law says. But when they try to change the law and shove it up, you know, down their throats, that's not right. You know, that's just all I have to say for today. Thank you for giving me the time. Thank you.
Francisca Batista.
She wants to give her minutes to whoever wants.
That's fine.
Elizabeth Ladrande Rivera.
And vacant lots. We got vacant lots all over the neighborhood now. They half did what they were supposed to do. Over there on the west side, on the east side, when they had that storm several years ago, Wheatley Heights in that area, they still haven't rebuilt that area. What they want to do, excuse me, what they want to do to the west side is what they do to all over neighborhoods. Just knock everything down. Now, I'm not against the homeless. I see homeless people every day downtown. This woman is cussing everybody out this evening when I'm walking down Commerce Street. You have people talking to themselves. You have people urinating on the ground. I'm constantly on the city's back right now because those sidewalks need to be washed down every day. You go to Travis Park. The policemen pushing them out of Travis Park every night. And you got a bunch, I mean, they friendly or whatever word they use, okay? Now, since the city council haven't got their act together, y'all gonna have to come down there every week and put pressure on them. That's why I've been going down there to City Hall the last 15 years, putting pressure. That's the only thing people understand is pressure. And I'm gonna keep on putting the pressure on them. If y'all think that Sound Shelter, this new Haven for Hope is a nice place. On your way home tonight, go down East West Commerce where the sound shelter. Go down there in the daytime, see all those people laying out on the sidewalk. We went to the sound shelter about 2 years ago, and this guy had a fork. I said, man, you don't know what you're going to do. You better put that down, but your mom and daddy won't know you if you stick with that fork. So he put it down. We have gangs all in that area. We have gangs in the downtown area. One guy jumping up and down. And I said, man, you better not put your hands on me because I always get the leader. I found out my daddy told me a long time ago, you always get that leader. And they said, man, you crazy. So they all ran down the street. We got all kinds of problems in the downtown area. We got all kinds of homeless people in the downtown area. And what bothers me the most is when the city council lied to you and you don't know what's going on. Now, y'all was saying about the parking. There's no parking over in that area. They demolished they condemned a couple of properties about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Pandarado cannot sit on that board. I can tell you that right now. I don't think her husband should be sitting on the board either. I'll call right now. The warehouses. County should be the place. And somebody said, oh, Highway 90 and Agnew Road.
I'm concerned that your time has expired, and those are some of the.
I thought you said those people that was.
Yeah, those two. Yeah, that's fine, I gotta keep that time.
Okay, well, I'm keeping track. I'm getting wound up now. Agnew Road and Old Highway 90. That's where they need to build this new haven for hope. I don't even like the word haven. Y'all just call it a shelter. Go out there on Acton Road, you got plenty of land. Those policemen that's sitting right there, they wouldn't walk down there over there where that sound shelter is right now. It's not safe. EMS every day, 4 or 5 times is going to the sound shelter. You got prostitution going on. You got drug addicts going on. This lady was about 18 years old. I go to the subway all the time so I could lose weight. She came and she said, sir, will you give me some money? I said, well, why don't you go to the sound shelter? She said, sir, 10 minutes to 9 o'clock, they won't let you in there. She's a young girl on the streets every night. And I said, well, when I get paid again, I see you walking down the street, I'm going to give you some money. A lot of times I give people money to help them. We're all that close from being in the shelter. You know if those policemen are afraid to go down there, what do you think is going to happen? In the university hospital system, it's overloaded right now. Now they got this railroad track, Bexar County Jail. Why would you build a sound shelter across from there? You know, something's wrong with the mayor and the city council. Something's wrong with this city government when they lie to you and they rezone everything. And y'all have to get involved. Some people say, well, I'm not going to get involved. Yeah, you got to get involved. You got to fight for your rights. I used to watch all those people in there. And the Lord touched me one day. The first time I went down to City Hall, they were making faces at me and eating and frowning. I said, I ain't gonna put up with this mess. I get up and walked out. And the Lord said, no, you go back. This is your job. You need to talk to those people and tell them right from wrong. And I'm going to encourage all of you guys to go down there where the sound shelter is tonight and keep your windows rolled up and see what's going on if you think it's such a good place. If Dennis Campbell, if this thing is such a good place, he needs to go down there. If Bill Harvard think it is such a good place, he needs to go down there. If they wanted to put that sound shelter in my neighborhood in Kenwood, we would pack this place. And I mean, we would pack it every night. We would pack every time we have a city council meeting. 50 to 75 people would be there to fight against the sound shelter. Now, I'm going to go ahead and stop because I don't want to run my time out. But I've been going out to City Hall 15 years fighting for different things like that. Downtown smells like a sewer. The reason it smells like a sewer is because people urinating all over the sidewalk. No restrooms downtown. I had to hunt a restroom last night and almost urinated on myself. So we got a lot of issues in the downtown area, but the city council can't get their act together. And I don't think they never will get it together. Y'all help
My name is Ruben B. Espinosa, Hail San Vermont, from the south side of San Antonio. I also represent a lot of other people throughout the city of San Antonio. I represent the SOS organization, which is Save Our Schools. Also represent Save Our Community, which is our new battle cry for the citizens. I've got a actually a four-part presentation on this pen, and also we're going to be giving some information. But in the beginning of the meeting, the very first things I heard was, we must follow process. Mr. Avila, you said that. We must follow process. And it's key. Zoning Commission must follow process. How are we going to follow process? If we can't follow process, we can't get anything done. You know, what's the process in going down for your job? Well, the first thing you want to do is make sure you turn on your car. Then once you turn on your car, you get out of the driveway and you're going down the street, oh, well, I need to put some gasoline on this car. Well, I'm going to talk to you about process. The city of San Antonio has failed in the process. Now, you're probably saying, how would a Southside gentleman know about process? Well, it's real simple. You go to the internet, you go to the city internet service or their website, and you start looking for things. The very first thing I looked for was the city charter. Oh, has everybody read the city charter here? Do you have a copy of it? If you don't have a copy, you get it for free. If you got internet service, you get it for free. Now, let me read to you what the city charter says. This is paragraph 1, general powers. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. It says, this charter as shall be needed for the government's interest, welfare, and good order of the city, and the interest, welfare, health, moral, comfort, safety, and convenience of its inhabitants. Now, what would that mean to you? That means that the city's going to take care of us. They're going to give us good streets. They're going to give us a good health department. They're going to give us good moral guidance. But the one that I keyed on was safety. Safety, yes, police department. Safety, yes, fire department. But then I broadened that. I really did. I broadened it because I wanted to see the Haven for Hope. Where does that fall under safety? It doesn't.
We do this. If I can have 2 or 3 names, so I can stop interrupting.
Lucas Socorro Maín.
Say that out loud, please.
Lucas Maín. Socorro Maín.
Thank you.
Elena Rodriguez.
Manuel Santiago.
No, wait.
Cesar Sosa.
No.
Okay.
Okay, give me a couple more names so we got 2 names.
Betsy Maín.
Ruby Sanchez.
Ruby Sanchez, I heard. That way you can stop interrupting. Okay, we'll start with that. Go ahead.
Okay. Safety, convenience of the inhabitants. And then even for hope just popped up in my mind. And the reason it came up was where they want to build it, there's no safety there. There's 2 active railroad tracks. Y'all already know about it. We talked about it earlier. Union Pacific goes through there every 1-2 hours. They don't give us a schedule because of national security now. But have you ever been by a train and listened to it for 14 minutes? And you want to give homeless people this every 2 hours? They're already stressed out. Can you imagine what's going to happen to them? I just wanted you to keep that thought. The second paragraph, which is paragraph 3, it actually goes with the government of the United States of America, or any agency or department therefore of, to accomplish any lawful purpose of the interest, welfare, health, moral, comfort, safety, and convenience of the city and its inhabitants. Okay? I'm reading you this because I'm putting this on the public record. There's a reason for this. Now, my second presentation is Ken's going to speak about the homelessness. And then I'm going to come back and talk about section 35420. And I think that's very interesting. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Rocha.
Good evening, my name is Maria Elba Rocha, and my address is 9118 Silver Arrow.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Maria Elba Rocha, and I live at 9118 Silver Arrow. And I'm sorry, my throat is really hurting tonight, so I'm going to make it brief. I'm just going to say that for the general demographics in the homeless population in 2007, African American is 20%, and Caucasian 23%, Hispanic 49%, and number of families with children 30%, and single males 43%. San Antonio point in time suicide, I'm going to talk about suicide also. Suicide is a serious public health problem today. On average, 85 Americans die from suicide daily. Today, it's the 8th leading cause of death and is responsible for approximately 31,000 deaths annually. Every year, there are approximately 500,000 suicide survivors who visit emergency hospital rooms across the country seeking medical help for unsuccessful attempts. In 1996, white males accounted for 73% of all suicides. Together with white males and white females accounted for more than 90% of all suicides. There are an estimated 16 attempted suicides per each completed suicide. The ratio is lower in women and youth and higher in men and the elderly. Suicide attempts are expressions of extreme distress that need to be addressed and not just a harmless bid for attention. Tonight, I would like to thank Ruben Espronceda for using his skills and his time in guiding us to advocate for the people's rights. And also, I would like to urge you to make a win-win or decision on this. We can all win, okay? We might not solve the problem 100%, we're aware of that, but we can make it a win-win situation.
Thank you. Presentation on all this.
Mr. Espronceda pretty much touched on most of the points that I was going to make, but during Mr. Dumpa's demonstration, that's the manner in which this life. I did notice that the Haven for Hope not only has one active building mark on the west side of it, it also has one on the northeast boundary of it. And that concerns me. I don't know very much about what the processes are for determining the safety as far as zoning goes. But if there were a train derailment, there would be a great loss of life there. And my concern is for the homeless that will be housed there. That was my concern. That was pretty much it.
Thank you. Section 35420, comprehensive neighborhood, community, and environmental plans. Statement of purpose. This is UDC. Neighborhoods that are essentially building blocks of local planning. The master plan provides strong policies encouraging neighborhood participation in the planning and land development process. Neighborhood planning is an important process when it's inclusive, not exclusive. What I read into this is basically the city of San Antonio has forgotten section 35420. And you're probably going to ask me, well, can you prove this? Of course we can. But 4 weeks ago, we asked for an open records request through the city. before we started to really read what was going on, we were looking at the UDC code. And we were asking, you're going from industrial to commercial, okay? So it falls under this UDC code. And I think y'all follow that UDC code. And it's very, very important that you understand this. Under Section B of Section 35420, Section B, initiation. The planning department must initiate this. Now, how should they initiate it? It says, one, of course, process to initiate, the director has to initiate. Number two, stakeholder participation. We have the sign-up sheet. Guess how many neighbors were there? Guess how many stakeholders were there? Mr. Mata, are you here? Were you at this meeting? Mr. Garza, were you at this meeting? Just say no.
No, sir.
Anybody else? Anybody in this room was at this meeting?
Ruben, if you just address this commission.
What I'm trying to convey to this zoning board, you're probably already tired, and I know you are, that the process was not taken seriously. It was circumvented. All they did was they got city departments, they got together, Mr. Kampa, several other departments, and they said, we're going to put this Haven for Hope plan together. Not only did they violate the UDC code, they also violated the Open Meetings Act because they never invited anybody. Not one meeting, you have residents here. Here's the list of people that were there. We had no stakeholders from the community. The city charter, by law, guarantees us a stake in this community. It was circumvented. It really was. Again, process was not taken. Mr. Kampa knows this. Mr. Marbut knows this. Ms. Rattle knows this. What I'm trying to say to you, what I'm trying to tell this or explain to you, I mean, you've heard the neighborhood, you've heard the concerns. Not one voice was heard before the ordinance was done. Not one voice. The city must provide a public hearing before this ordinance is even put forth. The city did not do that. Why are these families here tonight? Why are they're giving up their time? Because they were not heard. If you gave them the opportunity to speak about this, you would probably have a better place to put this Haven for Hope. Their concerns are genuine. But it's on deaf ears because the city didn't follow the process. So the city is in violation of its own city charter. And I asked an attorney, I said, what is a city charter? That is your constitution.
There was Angelica Rodriguez and an Amado Hernandez.
Angelica Rodriguez.
And Amado Hernandez.
Give me one more, please. Nico, you've been saying the name for a long time.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, we're way up here, so, Ruben, how much time do you need?
It's good. Okay.
Just in case, I don't keep on interrupting, Mr. Okay, please continue, I'm sorry,
What I'm basically saying, I asked, what is a city charter? That is the constitution of the city. What has the city done? They have violated their own constitution.
This zoning board must see that. This zoning board must vote this down. This zoning board must act. Checks and balances, that's what we have. If this zoning board goes on with the zoning, you have violated the city charter itself. Although we're watching, we're really watching close. So tonight, as the group of Save Our Community Coalition, the SOS organization, which is Save Our Schools, we are formally asking the city of San Antonio to withdraw their application for the rezoning case. What is this rezoning case, by the way?
Z 2007-217.
That they withdraw their application. We, the citizens and stakeholders of the city of San Antonio, have not been provided ample time nor description of this facility. We believe the city of San Antonio has violated not only city laws, also state and federal laws. We are formally requesting that you, the city of San Antonio, withdraw your application for rezoning. We're giving this copy to not only to y'all, but also to the we're CCing the Texas Rangers, the City Council, and also the Texas Attorney General. If you are the check and balances, which you are, we urgently respect and request that the zoning be turned down. Thank you.
Thank you.
It will be followed by Alexandrina Garcia.
Andrea Garcia.
Very good, Mr. Chair, other members of the zoning commission. My name is Jack M. Finger. I've been following this controversy for some time now. And I have to agree with my predecessor here, Mr. Espinosa. I really don't see where the process really was followed. I mean, we're talking about many, many people who say they did not get the word about this project. Certainly not the gravity, the seriousness of this project. Now, your documents say that 40 people got notices about this. 0 came back claiming opposition, and 1 came back claiming support for it. Well, my question is, just when were those notices mailed? And when was the latest point in time that they were received by you, the zoning commission? Was it last week? Was it a month ago, 2 months ago? Or was it several months ago before the real understanding and gravity of the situation came to light? I dare say, I think if you mailed out those notices to those same people now, I think you see a substantial change. Now, the reason you do that is because you want to get a feel for what the surrounding residents think about this zoning change. I mean, assuming you really want to know, well, the surrounding neighborhood goes out 200 feet beyond the radius of this thing. I'm sorry. I mean, what about, say, this increase about just 2 or 3 times that amount, 400, 600 feet? What would be the response now? I mean, these are people that have to go through this area all the time. Now, obviously, Mr. Valdez, you are the commissioner for that district. Your example, what everybody else will be following, generally speaking, in a respective zoning case like this. I have the solution for all this whole thing, Mr. Valdez. You know what you can do to solve everything? You can simply come forward and say, everybody, I, Joe Valdez, will hereby propose that this Haven for Hope be established right in my own backyard, right next to my residence. Yes, sir. By God, you can do it. You can show the compassion for those homeless out there. All the criminals, the
sex offenders and drug addicts. Everybody, you can do it for all of your cities. Bring them all over here. And you make everybody else happy in this room. I know you can do it, sir. My God, that's why you were placed on this panel. We'll be looking forward to that announcement, Mr. Collins.
Thanks for being here.
Alexandria Garcia, Mary Ozuna.
Maria Zuna, 140 Simon Street, District 5, and I'm precinct chair for 1003, which anybody that's elected knows. In the county, we work with anybody in that state and federal level and city level. I'm also a member of the South Central Planning Team. As some of you have seen me before, I haven't been here in a while. I was asking who our new representative is. Congratulations, and thank you for representing us. I have a couple of things. I didn't know any about this. There's a WDC, which I understand is also part, certain area across the street from here. My district takes up the Salvation Army, Catty Corner, all the way down to 90. The South Central Plan, and I have a map of it here. When people came to me and asked me about it, I said, well, why aren't you doing what we did on this? Which is the stakeholders from that area were asked to be part of the team. The team met with the city people here at planning for many, many, many months and decided with everyone from all these districts what they wanted to do, how we approached the neighbors. I had not heard about the situation. I'm trying to hurry because I want to read you some minutes that someone faxed me today. I know there's, we just had a change of office and Ms. Galvan's assistant was just talking to me back there about getting back with me on this. I do want to say two things, or a couple of things. You know the main thing for zoning, and we've worked on many zonings, the children's shelter, the bed and breakfast issue, many, many zonings. Clarity is priority. Stakeholders is part of that. And your process should be longer if this is a situation like this. I didn't see a process, I hadn't heard about this, which is really unusual. Mr. Avila knows that we're real involved with a lot of stakeholders. I have a couple of suggestions, but I want to read this, what I have here that was faxed to me today, and this is meetings from Wednesday, April 18, 2007, and Thursday, April 19, 2007. And I'm just going to read what it says. Mr. Dennis Campa, and I'm telling you, I know all these people. I know Dennis personally, I know Pat and Rob. I just think that something needs to be done here for everyone. Reported on the Haven for the Hope Homeless Campus, an upcoming ordinance will approve acquisition, condemnation, if necessary, and environmental remediation of 22 parcels. Staff has been directed to evaluate zoning changes and initiate my necessary amendments. Any necessary amendments to the Unified Development Code. The UDC on every issue that we've worked with since 1990 something, we've had to pull the UDC up. So please, either postpone this, give it to stakeholders, and there's actually property on our South Central Plan on the south side that would have been perfect.
You're gonna have to interrupt you, which you've been part of the process for many years. Your time is expired.
Thank you very much.
We have, Juanita. Yes.
I just want to make clear.
Juanita Hernandez.
Thank you. You know, I'm not here to blame anybody or say who's what. I work with many, many people homeless. I walk these streets at night. We live just up the street. Yeah, well, there's homeless everywhere. But you need to include everyone. You have to be respectful. And each one of you has a district. Today I heard about some amendment that scared me because I had never heard of it. Have you heard of it from your council district? So please, This area, the South Central Plan, it's got a perfect place at the state hospital. I would suggest Patty and Ron, I know that your team has worked on this, and I would suggest that the stakeholders would be involved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Followed by Henry San Manuel.
1718 Ruiz, and I own some property right there on San Marcos, about a half a block from where this is going to be built. And my mother lives right around the corner on Arbor Place, 406 Arbor Place. Her name is Hortensia Raya. All our family lives right around the area. And my daughter and all my kids have gone to Fox Tech, and they usually either walk to school and all that. And I just think that this facility for these homeless people is a very nice thing that that should be built, but somewhere else, because it would probably be something that would not be right in that spot. Instead, I would like to, like some gentleman said, see hotels, real nice stores or something, that people want to go to see, not something like this that they don't want to see in the neighborhood. Like that's where so many families have lived for so many years, and they love to live there. And a lot of people are gonna have to either move or go away from there because they're not gonna be able to live the way they used to live. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Oscar Laya, and I live at 1718 Ruiz. I grew up in this neighborhood that's being talked about. I went to Bowie Elementary School, which is 2,000 feet away from where this Haven Hope is going to be built. And I went to Irving Middle School and Fox Tech. They're all qualified schools. What I'm trying to get a point to is that my grandfather, who is no longer with us anymore, he's the one that brought us here to San Antonio and put us there in that spot. And my grandma lives in a few hundred feet away from where this place is going to be. And I grew up with them. I was there every day coming home to her house. She lives across the street from me. And I grew up there. And to see this place get built, it's going to be I think it's going to put a bad umbrella over this area. We've lived there for so long, and to have, my memories get thrown away because, this eminent domain, maybe they say they just want this little piece of land, but who knows, they're going to, in a few years, they're going to want a little bit more, and my grandma's house was just like a few feet away. And so, just to keep my memories, it's a little personal, it's a little selfish to keep my memories, but I know that all these people back here have memories too, where they grew up and with the people and that they want to stay there. Thank you very much.
I just want to let you know that I was born in that region, the red Martin and Oasis. And I lived in the area for 20 years. And I got married to this house because she came from the West. Now, from this Haven to go, but when I found out that it affected the elderly, of course I'm an investigator. I took law school and suburban. And while we were investigating and so on, I found out that they were speaking. And in Manama, I was scholar too. And I took the college. So I was a dropout, but once I went crazy, I got into season. And now, in Leviticus, it states very clear that before breaking the Hebrew and so on, it says, choke and deceivation. That's the scripture which is about sacrifice. fact, he was a high priest, Jesus, and he was under that law. And they won't show him consideration. This is violation of law of the land and law of heaven. Now, even the Texas Constitution speaks about Article 2 speaks about we have to apply to do and translate. So this is the reason we now on the United States Constitution it speaks about how much regular speakers there. Very touched. Now, I too was researching Jesus, following his footsteps, because he gives us the principle to follow his footsteps. And he too went ahead, and he had a lot of followers, and he put up to the test. They were Mormon, murmuring, and because he said, you can have everlasting life, he said, you have to become flesh and bring my blood in order to have everlasting life. And of course, they got stumbled, and he knew that they was stumbled. And these people were homeless, were people that were there to, get some food from Jesus, they preach and multiply it. Now, the time came. Now, he knew what was going on and so on. He got people letting it go on, and they stumbled to the point that they quit following him. And he did it intentionally. Oh, John chapter 6, verse 15. Check it out. Are we speaking this in season? That will still be. And of course, I'll be sorting the scriptures. Follow the it's copy follow. Now, they kind of saw that it was maybe insane because how could they be cannibals? Eating the flesh and eating his blood. I mean, I get it. It's going to us problem. Don't look up about it. And I did want to let you know that, look at conscience, and I know that I can say this.
Manuel Oliva, Mary Jane Martinez,
my name is Mary Jane Martinez, and I decided that my son Oli. So I didn't even know about this meeting. I'm not against the homeless or to help my community, but somewhere else. First and foremost, I don't live in Chicago, Miami, Phoenix, or San Diego. I live in San Antonio, just like we all do. So we're not from there, and everyone is speaking on behalf of their community. So we can't go out there and say, well, this is going to work from here, because we don't know. Texas laws are different from other cities and states. So I think that everyone has forgotten about our schools, the safety of our children, elderly in our community, and our families. I'm here to speak on behalf of our education for our kids. And if this is going to be placed there, all these schools have been closed down. And it's like, okay, if this is going to happen, put it somewhere else. Bring back our schools. Where are our schools at? All these schools that were shut down. And of course, no one knew about them until it took place. just like this meeting, and no one being aware about it. So many detention facilities that we have here, and a lot of empty buildings that we have. And schools are being turned to detention facilities to detain youth that have problems. And I just feel that everyone has forgotten our mission, because the kids that we have now and our grandkids and the kids then, they're our future. So has anyone ever thought about that? The schools and education for our kids. And this is why I'm here, I'm speaking out for kids. It seems that everyone seems to be on deaf ears and selective hearing. And I just wanted to make a comment real quick. Ms. Patty Radel, who made a comment that she has a case for this community and has helped the community. I just wanted to make a comment on that. And I wanted to say that a couple of years ago, I myself and another parent and other people have gone to her for help for kids at risk, pilot programs, education, schools, complaints when she was on board. And it's been 2 years already, and I never got an answer from her, but I'll get back with you kind of thing. And I'm hoping that you all will be listening to us and not be on deaf ears and selective hearing to just those that you all want to listen to.
Thank you very much.
Let's not forget, no child left behind.
Hi. Is this on?
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Diana Ibanez. I'm here because, like she said, a couple of years ago, we went into city council and we asked that they listen to us about the address. We're talking about the address, we're talking about the neighborhood that you're gonna put this into. We have crime in there. We deal with that. Sex offenders. We got, a couple of years ago, Greg Abbott was there. Because we were the 207, we were the highest, we were Greg Abbott came down. The thing is that why we fought, or we went before TYC, civil justice, the hearings that they were having. And what they were telling us is these kids are coming in with, they've gone through, seen more violence and have gone through so much, but yet they were teaching them in the book that had violence in it. That was a rehabilitation book, which was a wrong word to use. Now what I'm seeing is our children live here. These people live here. And you're putting something in here where you're going to bring in for them to see more drug addicts, more sex offenders, and so forth. And who's going to be accountable for anything that happens to these kids when any of these sex offenders walk out? It's not a prison, so everybody gets to walk in and out. Who's going to be accountable for these kids when something happens to them? Who's going to be accountable when somebody's walking home and maybe a drug addict or somebody approaches one of these kids and this kid decides to hit them? Assault on this person. Assaulting on a homeless person, okay? That child's life that was going to school, had to walk through there, was forced to walk through there, his life is going to be changed. So there's a lot of things to look at. We went before and we spoke with TYC people, and they would ignore us, okay? This is not happening at TYC. It could not be happening. I don't want that experience to happen here, where you're going to say, this is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I know it was accountable. I don't know if you guys saw the sex scandals that came out on the TYCs, everything that came out. It was happening. We can prevent something from happening. And we're hoping that you look at it and you make the right decision. Thank you.
Maria Oresco. I'm having a hard time reading names that are supposed to be printed and they're written, so bear with me. Next is Ernestine Mendoza.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. was being location. My name is Jesse Montreal. I live in 1015 West.
Can't
I'm
hear.
a grandfather of 10 grandchildren. I live a block and a half in the affected area. I have been here and listening to the pros, and they are largely misrepresenting what the other opposition is for. They're representing that the opposition is against the homeless, and we're not. But the chemistry that this is going to create, as Ms. Garza pointed out, it seems that the jail is expanding into a haven for hope. I feel that that title is misrepresenting what it will entail, because it will largely not have the effect, the desired effect that it seems to have. Ms. Garza pointed out that you are going to be having an overflow, a moving from the jail into this facility. Actually, you're creating an area which will be conducive to people that are innocent and people that decided to live in vices. They're criminals, and they've chosen that life. That's why the law enforcement authorities exist, to put a stop to this law-breaking activity. And this is what the haven for hope, as I said, is misrepresenting. It should be said as haven for criminals. I also see a lot of inconsistencies in the process that they've used. First of all, I read that this project was first left by former Mayor Garza. It was a 10 or 15-year comprehensive plan that the present mayor has moved up into a 2-year or less, 5-year or less. I feel that this is an approach that, to me, seems to be a surprise attack approach, or a fly-by-night, under the cover that nobody is informed, because a resident that lives just across the street from the affected area didn't receive the letter that I have here, informing the community and the residents of this meeting here. So they've claimed that we were informed, when in fact we weren't. As Mr. Campa accepted responsibility for the failure to properly inform the residents, the affected property owners and citizens of the area, he accepted that responsibility because he feels, he knows that this is hurriedly being processed and it's wrong. It should be struck out. It should be deleted, because right now they're presenting a small portion of the pie. This is a very small piece of the pie. The haven for hope is just a small piece of the pie. What they're looking at is eminent domain. A free hand in what happens to the neighborhood. One of the proponents of the project said, it was a great insult, as Mr. Avila was insulted a little while ago. I heard him say that he was insulted. Well, I was insulted when one of the proponents said, "Why do you complain? Why do you holler? You're in bad shape. Your neighborhood is in bad shape." Well, I've got 10. My family is law-abiding. You can say, excuse the language, I'm a gun-ho patriot. And, you know, hey, I'm for the U.S. I'm for due process. I'm for democracy. Right now, it seems that these people in power are not being checked because they're misrepresenting. Their duty is not to self-interest, to fall prey to self-interest, but to serve the community. I feel that I'm not being served. The people here that are opposing this rezoning, which will open the door eventually for a larger atrocity, is an eminent domain. We oppose that. We strongly oppose that. It should be stopped dead on its tracks. Why open the door to trouble? You stop it. You know the trouble is imminent because this spells trouble. It doesn't spell hope. It spells trouble in all segments of the
If you investigate one segment, it spells trouble. If you investigate that, it spells trouble. All throughout the analysis, it spells trouble. It should be deleted. We moved, when we presented our case before City Council, I forget the date, we moved that WDC be deleted, be taken out because it had a lot of discrepancies. It had a lot of inconsistencies. And we ought to be looking at due process. What are we moving into? Doing what we want because we have the authority? Well, I hope not. Does this call for a recall of all the public servants, especially the mayor and all the city council? Does it call for this? Well, it seems it does, because we are not being duly represented. I feel that. I feel that we are not duly represented. Now, the fact that the jail is going to be, the overcrowding in the jail is going to be putting their criminals and undesirables, because that's what it is. This shelter is going to be housing undesirables. At that zoning meeting at the library, I asked a question about affordable housing. Is this rezoning going to have a favorable? Is this rezoning favorable to a neighborhood, our neighborhood? Is it going to be bringing a home? Is it going to be bringing a McDonald's? No, it's not. No, it's not.
That's a molesta. I could have another name or two, please.
Bethel Ruiz. Bethel. Bethel Ruiz.
Bethel Ruiz, thank you. You have getting old, you have. Give me another name, please. One more name.
Rebecca Ruiz.
Rebecca
And
Ruiz.
I have friends, relatives, and myself, like I said, I've got 10 grandchildren. She's got children of elementary age. So I live a block and a half from the affected area. Don't try to put wool over my eyes and tell me that I'm not going to be affected. I will be affected. I will be affected. There's girls, and even a boy is not safe, because as we heard in the elementary, a boy was abused. So no one is safe, because these people, if you're going to create a haven for these people, they'll find it attractive. They'll come into the neighborhood. They'll find, as a matter of fact, right now, a lot of people that know or think, I hope this isn't flying. It isn't flying. I hope we pop a hole in the balloon. I hope it doesn't fly. They're walking the area. Oh, this is my new home. I see them. I see them sitting down, lying down, and everything, because they know that this is coming. And you're welcoming these people. You're welcoming, and not only the city. You're welcoming, because if you create something huge, humongous, you're going to be attracting the county people, the state people, and all the state's people to come into this area. That's what you're doing. You're making it so attractive to them. You give somebody in that situation one hand, he's going to want an arm. You give him an arm, he's going to want something else. There's no stopping. But you can't have, it's that chemistry. To have a runaway child, 12 years old, 15 years old, 18 years old, with a criminal, it might as well create a city of people, of criminals. Create a city for them. Have a saloon, have a brothel, have all the things. Make it self-sufficient. Build an Alcatraz. Send them to Alcatraz on an island, and separate the people that are going to fall free, because that's what is going to be created there. We are going to be victims of these people that pray, like someone said a little while ago, that they heard from different towns that they have these shelters, so-called shelters. The situation is going to be here worse, because this is going to be huge. And if you're going to have some people being released from the jail, well, have the same security, lock them in. Lock these people in so they can't wander off at night. Don't make it so attractive to them and say, come to the city of San Antonio. And we're going to welcome you, we're going to build a house for you, and then have it co-ed. I asked the gentleman that meeting at Bazan, I said, why not bring affordable housing? And he said, we will. But this housing is for halfway housing. No one's going to want to buy housing or build where these criminals, after they get released from jail and they spend 3 or 4 months in the shelter, and they fool everybody that's going to investigate them that they're good, like a parole kind of board. Okay, you're free to go into the community. Okay, go into this housing. We know that those people are going to be housed in that housing. You're compounding the problem. When you create housing, no, create housing for respectable people.
Mr. Carmelo, I'm going to interrupt you, getting a couple more names.
Dora Favela and Carlos Favela.
So right now, also it was mentioned that the railroad, the criminal need the serial killer that they create a crime in such a state and they hop on a train. Well, you're creating something conducive to that. Plus, that is being proposed that they're going to build a bus rapid transit system going from San Antonio to Austin. You commit a rape, a burglary, or breaking, or whatever. You hop on the bus and take off to Austin. You're free. Nobody's going to chase you. So we need to stop it and stop it. Get on its tracks. We need this. We ask you that you really dig down into your conscience and say, this has got to be stopped. We're not against the homeless. Yes, provide people they need, but separate the bad people, the bad apples from the people, the apples that need a little guidance. Guide them. Yes, provide them detoxification. Yes, give them help, but make them accountable. That's what we ask. I don't want to be talking, but we hope that we made an impact upon you and that you strike it down. Strike it down. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lopez, followed by Hugh Mendoza.
My name is Ezra Robles. I live in 1115 Northwood Street. I've actually lived in that house maybe about 14 years, and I've actually can say that it's been comfortable there. All my youth, I've been able to cycle through, play football, and all the other school stuff that we do as kids. And now bringing this environment into this scenario, what are we going to do with all the youth that's still there? All the children that are still living there, all the schools that have been mentioned throughout all this meeting, all the children that are living there, what are they going to do? Are they going to be having to stay indoors, being locked up, being, in a way you can say their home will be more prison? Because the parents aren't going to be too happy to let them outside where any wanderer could just come in and either just look at them or abuse them or some way. As the gentleman just finished saying, no one's safe anymore. Before no one can say, oh, he's a man, he can take care of himself. Now it's going to happen anyways. I mean, like we mentioned several times, I mean, there's people that have to walk to school from one place to another, and that's there. And like instead of making something that isn't going to bring that much of a benefit to the community, why not build shops or build something that the community is going to want to go to? The community can benefit from, like let's say a park or some central commerce. That way the real estate can go up. That way one can say, hey, I want to live around there because I can benefit from this feature. Whereas if we do this haven for hope, as we want to put it in parentheses, who's going to want to really stay where we're at and wander with it? One thing that we noticed we're relying on is really the staff that's going to be working there. One can always have human error, and we're relying too much on the staff that's going to be working there with the 24/7, the 24 hours and 7 days a week. But human error is always going to occur, and that staff isn't always going to take care of everybody who's wandering outside. They'll just take care of whoever's inside or whoever they're immediately attending. And if that's the case, then where's our safety? Where's our security? Or can we say, hey, this is my refuge, this is my home? We all come to our house to, hey, it's a long day at work, we go home and they're fine. find comfort, we find everything we need. With this office here, whatever we need to get.
Thank you, Mr. Robles.
After Mendoza is Elizabeth Robles.
My name is Kevin Mendoza. I'm another bad 4202 commander. I'm not an eloquent speaker. I'm an ignorant person in case of this case. I'm not really informed, but what got my attention is that I'm a civilian that walk these streets. Not often, but I do walk them. And I got enrolled in San Antonio College. And sometimes I get to school early. I don't have to go to the bus. I just have to walk. And this project that they want to build is here where I walk. I don't want to find people laying down on the grass, on the streets, because I do get scared, even though I know how to defend myself, and my father taught me how to defend myself. And I'm not saying that it's not bad that people do need to help them, because I've been a witness several months ago. It was by April when we had the carnival. Me and my friend were walking. We were at Versa. We were walking, and this homeless came up to us and told us, "Can you help me out?" And he showed us a cut that he had in the stomach. It was pretty deep. It was like 7 inches wide. And he said, "I need some money to eat. I haven't eaten for this day." And I felt sorry for this person. And I said, "Here, I have $5. Go get a burger." I do want to help these people, but I'm concerned with the area. And I think here this conversation, and the point is, the area is not very against helping the homeless. It's what they want to build it. And I'm a civilian, and that's what I have to say about this.
Thank you.
Roland, I believe it's Mendoza.
Sorry, guys.
Mine too, don't worry.
I know you guys have been here longer than me. My name's Roland Mendoza, and my address is 516 Reese. I've lived there over 35 plus years. Just recently moved out, got married and stuff, and my parents actually kicked me out of there. They are still living there. You know, at the beginning of the meeting here, you guys claimed that the zoning was not a done deal. Yet, our neighbors were bought out and they had to be moved out. I don't understand that. This project is in literally the backyard of my parents' house. Their house borders 3 properties that have already been bought out. I was in the neighborhood the time they were measuring the neighbor's yard, and I said, "Well, you know, what's going to happen with my parents?" They said, "Oh no, that's the borderline. This is where it stops. Their fence line is where it ends." And yet I've seen the maps for everything that's going on, and I said, "Well, you know, I'm very misinformed." My parents are 77 and 83 years old, and they asked me to please attend this meeting to find out when they're going to have to move out. You know, I have mixed emotions about the Haven for Hope. You know, I'm not against helping the homeless and all the services which will be provided. As a matter of fact, my church and myself personally have volunteered countless numbers of hours there at the Habitat for Humanity, you know, the different agencies there and everything. We put in our fair share of hours. We've handed out towels. We've collected soaps, toothpaste, and work. But I'm just, once again, I'm not against the Haven for Hope by any means. I'm against the way the city decided to purchase the properties, they seem to have picked and chose who they were going to buy for first. The prior testimonies claim that the value of the properties have increased ever since they had a Haven for Hope built there. So my question is, when it's time to buy out my parents' property and move them out, will they get the fair property value, or will they give them the 50% off price? You know, the city has done a poor job of selling this Haven of Hope, especially to the people that it will affect the most. I feel that if this is not a done deal, like you guys said at the beginning, that it should just be stopped immediately. Already been purchased and everything. Hey, city's stuck with it. Just like when you make a bad deal,
Thank you, Mr.
I think it's stuck.
Thank you.
We are taking as 7240. My parents owned 635 Leal Street, and they own 700 Leal Street. That was a good presentation, PowerPoint presentation. What we mostly saw were businesses, the garbage disposal that's on Leal Street. If any of you have ever been on La Calle Leal, you would see that one side of Leal to the tracks close to Colorado and to the far end of San Marcos is what compromises that Texas Waste Company. And across the street from that business are 5 residential homes. 3 are presently occupied. And my concern is if this does pass, what will happen to the people that live there, considering that this Haven for Hope is right in front of these 3 homes. And what I'm concerned is all the activity, the trucks that will be going in there and excavating all that cement that occupies that whole block. That is what is my concern. And as far as, I lived across the street from the tracks when I was a little girl. I was raised there. And I loved the train that went by. Because every time the train would go by with lots of load of gravel and rocks, the whole house would vibrate. Ooh, that was good. But the cars never derailed. And that was a good thing. I lived at 635 until I was 35, and then I moved out simply because the crime rate has really deteriorated. There are a lot of drug addicts and drug pushers. My aunt, who has been deceased for 4 months, lived at 647 Leal Street, and 3 times her home was broken into. The drug addicts that live in that community, they know when you leave, and they know when you come back. They know who lives in the houses, and they know who, it seems like they have a radar when people go out of their homes, and then they go quickly and break into. And these are drug addicts, they're not drug pushers. There are a lot of drug pushers in the area. And my concern was, since our parents left the property, we want to sell it. Because I think I would rather sell than continue to live in an area where a lot of drug addicts are going to come in. They're going to be drug pushers pushing the drugs to these drug addicts that are going to be housing the community. And we need more police officers. This drug activity has been going on for years and it's not getting any better, it's getting worse. We need more police officers.
Thank you very much for being here.
Taylor Green Bettis, which is right across the street from the head of the Hope is. I'm here to tell you a little bit different story that is going to be affecting me. I'm not against the homeless, I'm all for it. My father, 80 years ago, came from Mexico, gave us an opportunity to live here in San Antonio. And we prospered pretty good. And the good part about it is that this Heaven of Hope is going to take away my hope. And my hope is that all my brothers, my family, and I'm pretty sure the other people here in the audience have the same thing that I'm going to do. We try to give back to the community, educate everybody. My brother that spoke a few speakers ago, he's got his degree. His son is an architect, his other son is a teacher, and we all live in the community. Haven't moved away to the north side, which really. I've got 3 sons, 2 of them are pretty educated. One of them already graduated, he's a teacher. None of them have moved out. This Heaven of Hope is going to take that hope away from me and my kids to go ahead and look for another place. And I'm here just to please ask you, let us give to the community in a different way. Educationally, because it's nice to say my next door neighbor is an architect, my next door neighbor is a doctor, instead of my next door neighbor is a trash collector. And that's the difference that we're trying to bring to this community. And we're trying to bring you something which is wonderful to build someplace else. And I would like to be before you and give me that opportunity. Don't take this hope away from me. We give back to my community, like I'm very sure other people here are doing the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Luis. I live at 2214 Buena Vista Street. I have 6 children. 5 of them go to the SAISD schools nearby. One of them is at Arlington Lake. And my concern is that as it is, my neighborhood is already filled with criminals. On a daily basis, I see people walking by Buena Vista Street and Commerce Street. And even if there's an HEB there, there's stores around there. It does not stop, criminals from, because there's a lot of light keeping them out of the neighborhood. I used to live at 914 Perez Street, and because of eminent domain, the school district bought my house. So I moved to Buena Vista Street. I am from around that neighborhood. And I see these people, these homeless people walking around, and it does concern me for my children and for the other children that they are seeing these people as examples. They are in their path, so bad things can happen to them. We cannot be vigilant of our children all the time. Then this is why you are here for us, to help us, make a better decision for our neighborhood. I do not think that this Haven for Hope is a good idea. I think that it should be taken somewhere else.
Thank you.
My name's Danny Mendoza. I live in Jordan, Texas now, down south. My parents are Karen Mendoza. My brother was here just a few minutes ago. Our property, or my dad's property, I have a power of attorney on them. It's next door. And my dad, World War II veteran, 2-time bronze medal winner. His whole family lived in the area. My biggest concern is their safety. Obviously, if this goes through, I will be moving them out. I will not have them there. As it is, the back part of our yard has, which the other businesses were there, they put barbed wire on the fence up there on the top. So that kind of keeps us fairly safe on the back part. But just a couple of weeks ago, they had a break-in. Police raided the people up in front for drugs and some kind of activity that was going on there. So I have my own business. I sent money to the homeless shelter every year, especially Christmas and all that. So I support them every bit. But now that the neighbors next door left, that was their security there. The neighborhood people knew each other. When our parents are gone, they would watch. Well, they're gone. Then the city bought their property. They're gone. So they have no security on that side anymore. Now they're more fearful than ever. So I'll probably may move them anyway because of that. But I can see how this is a great idea and all this, but it appears that I think that's what I'm more angry at the city the way they took us, just like my brother. The process they did, just the way they went about it. It didn't seem like we knew about it. And once my parents asked us to get involved in it, well, here we are trying to find out what to do, and that's what they're waiting for. When do we move? When do we move? And I can't tell them when, but other than that, I really don't have too much more to say about that. So thank you much.
Thank you.
Rachel Mata. Esther Sosa. Graciela